You will find a girl in this place, Terrence. It's a small, sweet girl, and I owe her my life. Please, Terrence. You gotta care for her, you gotta look after her, you gotta provide for her. Ooh, Terrence, I don't wanna go, but I got to. Know that I miss you. Know that I don't want to do this. I do not ask this lightly. Gosh, I'll miss you and your thick arms. But I've got to. There are things that I need to do. I must atone, and only I can. It is my burden, Terrence. You must understand. Farewell.
Hello guys, hey, welcome back. Oh my god, what a power ballad. Terrence and Dee on the musical. As Bree will attest, I haven't stopped singing it for about the last 2 days. She's slowly getting sick of it. No. Or I'm winning her over. I'm starting to join in. She's starting to join in. Regardless, Dee on DLC when? Yo guys, welcome back. It's been a hot ass minute since we finished 16. And I thought, yeah, I just posted up a video. It was like a little, I think it was about an hour in the end, Bree. Me and Bree covering the good ending. The good, if you can call it the good. The big old debate, the raging debate on whether or not Clive died. Crazy. It's only got crazier since finishing 16. Me marinating in the feeling. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but yeah, we break it down pretty hard. All of the evidence for Clive being alive, all the symbolism, whether we like it, whether we agree with it. And yeah, completely honest guys, if you haven't seen that video yet, I don't like the ending of 16. I don't like it. I'm trying to find a beautiful place with it. I'm looking, and even Ultima, I fucking don't like Ultima. I think Ultima's a jank, like pre-Final Fantasy V villain. Our villains have ascended to much higher levels, and even something like him, I'm trying to find a way to like him. You know, checking out some videos where people comparing Ultima to some like Lovecraftian kind of concepts. You know, God and the downfall and being ashamed of his creation and that reflecting on shame of himself. And but it doesn't matter how deep I dig, guys. There's just some things at 16 I am not happy with. But how are you on this auspicious of Fridays, guys? It is bollock hot right now. It's only got hotter as the day's gone on. But yeah, I thought I'd come on and just hang with you guys. Maybe cover a few topics. Maybe rank the characters of Final Fantasy 16. I've got a big old succulent tier list, which I think I'm going to struggle with this. I don't know, should we do this? We're up for a little bit of tier listing. And then I just thought maybe I'll play some Theatrhythm. Maybe give NG Plus a go. Which I still want to do NG Plus in some spicy, cool way, but yeah, Ultima sucks. He really does. He's very, very hollow, very superficial, very one-dimensional. And what was most disappointing is all of the big mysteries that I was kind of titillated for with 16. I've been theory crafting, I've been looking into and diving deep into. Came to nothing. Came to nothing. God is everything and God is a dick. You know, one of the big mysteries, I don't know if we'll start here. Bleeding Leviathan. Leviathan, let's talk about Leviathan for a hot damn minute. So in this video, I'm gonna, in this stream guys, because I'm editing up vids on Clive, whether he lived or died. I'm not gonna go too much into that this vid, or Joshua for that matter, or Dion. I'm gonna cover them separately. But Leviathan, man, I've seen people saying they think Levi is the medicine girl. And I wanted to find out what that was. Was there something that I had missed? Not really. Not really. She gives Dion some like water, some purified water from the lake. And somebody was like, Dion was really injured and she gave him water and it made him better. Therefore it must be magic water equals Leviathan. No, that was the poultices. That was the medicine that she was selling. And then there was some very loose, but I couldn't really find it. Something about the tribes of water. Water tribes. But I didn't really... Here we go. Medicine girl. Any chance she's either Leviathan's dominant or the one that finds to save Clive's. Or cures Clive's curse in a future DLC. I don't think she is Leviathan. I mean, it's possible. So, I mean, do you guys have any ideas on DLC? What it might be? Again, when I initially look, and it's what everyone is saying with 16, of course, Clive, at the end, he deleted magic. He deleted bearers. My camera has just sharted. I actually think the camera's just overheated. It's too goddamn hot. It's too hot in here. So guys, give us a bloody moment. Right. Let's run this camera into overheat town. Why not? Bit of overheating never hurt anything. Okay, well, that's working. So yeah, I have had some thoughts, guys. There we go. Is it working? It's working. All right, I have had some thoughts, guys. Like on the DLC, I'm pretty sure Yoshi P's going to do it. He has said, like previously, they might just do some like iconic kind of mumbo jumbo jamboree, just mix up a bunch of summons that they never got to do. I think he's going to be a bit facetious with that one. But yeah, any DLC, we can assume because, you know, the world dominance bearers magic ended, that it'd be like a backwards facing DLC. You know, what I would hope with some end implications. So, you know, you could go through Dion, some episode Dion thing, like a definitive thing on what happened with him at the end. You know, maybe we do one for Joshua, a Sid backstory one, any of the characters that have come before, or shoot back even further with just a few little tee-ups for some sort of resolution. But that's what I'm thinking. Is anyone holding out for any kind of resolution on the ending? Like, do you think we're going to get any different context? Do you think that Clive is going to end as forever being a Schrodinger's cat, both dead and alive? Dion, no freaking clue. Joshua. Now, I will say, guys, as I've dug deep into my brain wholly, and I've thought about Leviathan. Now, I may be coping here, and I may be hoping, opening and coping. But Leviathan, the Lost, right? What if the reason why Leviathan is lost, you know, obviously the crystal Drake's eye, you know, we found out that in the battle between the Northern Territories and Rosaria, it fell. But what happened to the Ultima, right? Because all the Ultimas were the mother crystals. So in a roundabout way, they were also the dominants. What if Ultima created a trump card? What if Leviathan the Lost is one surviving, one remaining Ultima? And that at the point of Meteor disappearing, the symbolism of that isn't entirely all magic is gone from the world. There's still a bit left. There's still a bit more. I just want Leviathan is a DLC person, but that's just me. See, I think it would be kind of cool if not everything was completed. There's something still amiss in 16. And I do wonder. I don't want to speak too much about Joshua's fate, but at the end of the day, Clive did get the powers of Ultima and the Phoenix, right? He got both. Now, like Bree pointed out, the Phoenix can't actually resurrect someone. But what was it you said on that point, Bree? It can't resurrect someone else.
That's kind of what it sounded like he was saying. Like,
You can't resurrect someone else. Because like in the series, it's never actually healed death, has it? It's always just been knockout, KO.
yeah.
But the Phoenix itself can resurrect, right? And also Ultima. Ultima has the powers over life and death, right? He's a creator. He's a creator god. There is a possibility, guys. And I've thought more on it. What if Clive did save Joshua? What if he did? My main interpretation up until this point is he just wanted to close his brother's big, like, gaping chest hole, you know, a place where his brother's heart is, something Clive loves dearly. You just didn't want to see that. But what if in that moment, even in that moment of love, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, Clive knew fully what he was doing. If he knew, like consciously, he was about to yeet Origin and wanted to give Joshua some sort of chance, or by the act of love, it did do something. Or even the fact that Ultima has the power to take himself from corporeal form to spirit form. Also the Nexus that Joshua died next to. No, it's like a soul portal. Even if Joshua's body got yeeted in Origin, what if either through being close to Nexus or what Clive did, something on a soul level happened with Joshua? And what if he got somehow evacuated out of there? And what if he is on another continent? Because we did hear, right, about other continents other than Valisthea. I think there's like a swords as sharp as Odin's blades. There's like another continent. I think it was in a Blackthorn. Blacksmith Blues, I think it was. What if the DLC is some alternative continent? Some FF16 Forbidden West shit. And Joshua's soul has been... Maybe he attuned to an aetheryte. Something along those lines, man. And what if, just because Metia disappeared and we saw Clive fizzle without power, what if Joshua actually gets the power of dominance? Or some sort of extra powers? Or ultimate powers? What if we have a Joshua DLC dealing with Leviathan the Lost, aka the last fragment of Ultima? Something. Because, yeah, Ultima was obviously very decisive, very selective, had a reason for everything with all of the dominance, right? Some sort of game plan with them all. I don't believe Leviathan is just lost. Just lost. I mean, this is what it seems like at this point. I'm just trying to give Yoshi P and the team some sort of like, they didn't just stick that in there just for, we need some extra sense of mystery in the game. That is nothing. Because that's what it seems right now. There is no Leviathan, there's no fucking mystery, we didn't see anything. All of like Joshua going up to the cosmogony artwork meant nothing. Now I hope not. I hope that this is what Square Enix's trump card have been. I'm sure it's Leviathan Lost Pairs, you're on it. Do you think, and would you like this? That's the more important question. Would you guys be up for there's one final piece of Ultima? And the thing is, if there is, I would like it to be something different. Ultima was shit. I want something more juicy with Ultima. Because we learned nothing about him, really. And if there's one DLC that could hit all of those check marks, I think it'd be really cool. They knew gamers would think about Leviathan. Hell yeah. Ultima was Bartandelus a level of meh. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to be honest, I actually prefer Bartandless. Being completely honest, I'd actually go for a fucking 5-hour screening of pure Bartandless cutscenes. Yeah, it's just like everything with Ultima was obviously that they presented him as this totally emotionless, compassionless, like just dead kind of god with zero humanity. And then what was it? Halfway through the fight with him at the end, he just started getting emotive, didn't he? No! Which is also very cool is that he also started talking to himself in I tense. Did you catch that, Brie?
Yeah.
He went from we to I. I am, what is it? I am the throne that you worship at, or the altar that you worship at. Now, there's obviously like a simple answer for that. All the Ultimas merged back, so they stopped being separate and became one again. But I also do think there's something in there that the second Ultima started showing emotion, then sort of the individuality aspect coming in. Kind of reflects what Clive was saying, you're a bit of a hypocrite, Ultima. You think you're above us, you think you're better than us, beyond us, and actually you are our creator, and therefore all of the flaws that you have instilled in us, you also perpetrate yourself. Because that's the thing with any creation, right? How can you actually blame a creation for something its creator made? It's actually what the creator's flaw, right? But that's all very stretched. Like, I'm having to do a lot of like extra mental steps for Square Enix. They just did not do. And it's such a shame because Ultima was such like a cool villain when I first saw him. I was like, fuck, where's this going? And it didn't really go anywhere. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? What are your guys' feels? Bartandless got what he wanted, to be honest. I still never forgive him for killing Gilnabat, and I never will. Also, Jake, what did you like about it? Not what you hated about it. Hey, we just got a little raid in. I believe Leviathan was in the lore. It was in the war between the Fallen and Ultima. Yeah, it's in the lore. It's just, why was it in there? Why was it in there? Just to bulk out the sense of mystery, to get us wondering about things. Again, I say there wasn't enough plot twists for me in 16, like substantive, cool ones, cool pivots. About the only one was Joshua being first robed hooded guy, and that, like I said, that was a misdirect. Yeah, it's taken me quite a few days to process the ending, guys, and as I processed it, a lot of flaws have come through for me. A lot of flaws, especially in the Ultima department, in the mysteries department. One other area that I would lay big criticism on. So I don't know how to present this, but the nations. The nation building and the dynamics of these global chessboarding superpowers rivaling war gridlocked nations, countries. It was so cool at the start. It was so cool. The trailers and seeing Sambrek and seeing them locked in this battle, and Dalmek versus Iron Kingdom, with like Shiva and Titan at the head of it, and seeing these big grandiose war scenarios, fucking Magitech, catapults, fucking scimitar wielding dudes on chocobos, and just getting this real sense of shit, this is going to be Type 0 2.0. This is going to go places. This is popping off. And going to each of the nations, it really was thrilling, and the start of it was thrilling. And I just really tried to lay that on thick. I really loved it. It was engaging. I loved every time we went to a new nation's crystal. And the sense of I had. But then they got to a point in the game, it really fell off a fucking cliff. And actually, the cliff it fell off, to be honest, it was Wallowed. So when I first went into Wallowed, personally, I really, really liked the bleak, kind of drab, Bloodborne-ish kind of vibe they had going on. And as we're going through it and we're going up to where Barnabas is going to be, there was also the side of me, I'm like, I really wonder what the people of Walload are like. What kind of nation? So I got like a Bloodborne mixed with North Korea vibes. You know, dictatorship country that is kind of locked off from the rest of the world. And then it just turned out there was nobody in Walload. There was fucking no one. Only Edda and a couple of dudes with some quests. No one existed. There were no people. Because, and I mean, you can lay it on like Barnabas, turn like hundreds of thousands of them into Akashic and orcs and something to war. That should have been a big moment with Barnabas. Barnabas was also really freaking rushed. Really rushed. The ideological standoff between him and Clive, for one, rushed. It was still, again, really, really cool seeing Barnabas get untethered. But also the fact that we saw, you know, Sleipnir versus Ifrit, but we actually didn't get that fight. Him in his big Odin form. That was missed out on. And then they just sort of poofed. Did anyone feel this? Just sort of like got rid of Barnabas. And that's where everything then started going downhill for me, for the nation building. There was no longer this like complex geopolitical situation. Everywhere had become drab as fuck from like these rich like nations that they once were at the start of the game. And I guess that's what is supposed to be happening because, yeah, the superpowers are toppling, and I get that. But this is where it ended up being. So this is what it was. The nation of Rosaria, right? Led by Elwyn, locked into this complex geopolitical situation with the Iron Kingdom, rallying their army, getting ready to go to war. Fucking Sam Brett coming in with Phoenix Gate. All of the stuff with the treaties. Really fucking cool stuff. It became about Martha and Wade. That was what Rosaria was reduced to. A fucking landlady at a chocobo pub and some dude trying to like rehabilitate a tiny little like four bedroom kingdom by growing some chocobo turnips. Giselle Greens. That's what happened to Rosaria. Martha became the big doggy of the place. She was she was the head honcho of everything. And to see that that was what Rosaria was reduced to, and the fucking scene of her in front of a couple of bearers hoisting a frying pan, you're like, yeah, come on, what are you gonna do? Let them take your homes? Like, to go from like Elwyn rallying his freaking troops to Martha with her frying pan. Jesus bloody Christ. Now let's go over to Dalmek, shall we? So Dalmek locked in with this cool, republic. No, the only kind of democratic state in the whole place, but seeing Hugo kind of leverage himself, shoving down, was it like Prime Minister, I guess? But being at that war table and how they were trying to negotiate with Walload and the alliance treaty that they had, and when they did and didn't get involved in the fight. That was cool. That had like a lot of potential. I wanted to see come to something. What did that get reduced to? That dude fighting back to back with Byron, Uncle Byron. Like that was the only moment I thought, oh shit, that's going to take down Mick somewhere. No. They had that dude show up for 2 seconds fighting with Byron against some Akashics. Dion came in and saved the day. But the bulk of Dalmek became about fucking Lubor! Lubor, the slimy lube man, going from just being like the slimiest, sleaziest, most arrogant prick I've ever seen to, I'm a bearer. Nobody likes him now. Lubor's about to get kicked out of the... Let's stone him. Fucking stone Lubor. Yeah, you lied to us. Bunch of kids jump in. And then Lubor announces some Akashic coming. Oh, actually, you know what? You're the mayor of the town now. Mayor Lubor, Mayor Lubor. That's what happened to Dalmek. Like, just fucking let's hoist him into power. Because the only other people were fucking morons. You had like one lady and one dude. One dude was like, I think we should go and fight the bandits. And the other lady's like, I think we should actually like stockpile food and look after our town. And then Lubor comes in and, what about if we do both? And they're like, fucking hell, Lubor, bloody hell, make him leader of the nation. Didn't think about that. I didn't think that both protecting against enemies and building up our food reserves were two important things. Anyway, moving on. Where did Sanbreque go? God, Sanbreque was so cool. Whenever Sanbreque was on, like, the screen, my heart was palpitating. I was gripped. Everything with Sylvester, the Emperor, Annabella being on the throne, the little God Emperor child. And it got really rich at points, especially with Dion doing the coup in the nation. Woo, that was really, really dope. And I thought, and we saw it with Dion, right? He got told about Ultima, but he said there was things he had to do with his own nation first. Sweet. Sylvester dies, all of that like drama happens. And I was really expecting that we were going to get to see Dion go back and resolve something with his nation. Something huge. Some big resolution with Sanbreque, that had to get rid of their main nation, and they had to go over to the Crystalline Dominion, which we still got yeeted up into the sky. So what happens when we go back to Sanbreque? Yeah, you got it right, Tony Stephen. The Dame is running the fucking show. We go back to Sanbreque, and you've got some moron, some half-witted nitwit who is like the second in command, apparently. And he's like, you know what? I think maybe we should put our fucking capital over in that shitey rundown castle over there. And the Dame's like, no, sir, because there's a Akashic coming now. And this guy has like got some sort of beef with his fucking daughter going on. And it's so pathetic and it's so superficial and it felt so empty. And he goes from calling the Dame a hoe. He's like, I ain't listening to you skanky hoe. To 2 minutes later, what did the Dame actually do? She did the same thing that Lubor did. Same thing that Martha did. Yo guys, there's people attacking. There's like Akashic dudes attacking. We should like maybe focus on that. No, I don't think we should. No, I really think we should. Okay, I will then. We saved the day. Fucking hell, you're a genius. I think women like the Dame should be running the nation. That was when I was done. The nation building got reduced to fucking Luby Lubor, the Dame, and a bloody pub wench. Come on. How did we get to that point? And it just felt like there was no world left at the end of it. Because Walload literally had no one. Is there any nation I missed off? Canva. Yeah. What really happened there? Barnabas came in and cleaned house. And then nothing else really happened in Canva. Oh, and Iron Kingdom. Yes, this like cultish, fanatic, like religiously nutty nation who had never let their dominant emerge. And I'm like, oh, there's going to be something really cool here. And yes, indeed. We went there, Jill had her arc. It was really, just like all of these nations, something really, really dope happened at it. But then they just fell off the grid. We never saw from that lady again that Jill knew. Never heard from her ever again. Never heard anything from the Iron Kingdom again. Why? What the fuck? And, it's just what really disappoints me, to be honest, is that there wasn't some big final rallying of all these nations. They just fell off and they became meaningless. And I mean, that's the point, Pez. What's the point? The point for me is that the world is supposed to be more than just the characters. It's supposed to be these disparate nations that have been gridlocked in this pathetic war for centuries on end because of their greed, because of their short-sightedness, because of their tribalistic behavior, that they finally see a bigger picture, a unifying picture. And that was what the scene hinted to us. And we had the dude of Dalmek with Uncle Byron, who definitely should have played a bigger role in Rosaria and the future of it. No, and Dion, who definitely should have had a bigger in the future of his nation. I genuinely believe there should have been a final dungeon. A final dungeon would have resolved all of this. You don't yeet Origin into the sky, Square Enix. That's a fucking terrible idea. What you do instead is you have Ultima take over the Crystalline Dominion. You have him turn it into the cocoon still, and you have him make it his paradise. Now, to bust through into Origin, you need to get multiple icons to be able to penetrate a hole through. This is where Jill would have had to have shivered out. This is why she wouldn't have been able to have actually gone to Origin. We then go in with multiple characters, multiple nations. We see them rally their armies and they all come to Origin. Yes. All headed off by these like big significant characters who aren't just standing there in the hideaway. Like, it just felt stupid seeing all those characters lined up just with their thumbs up their butts, just like Lubor and Dame chilling in the background, just like, remember, we're important people. We're like the future of these nations that were once so rich and cool and complex and intriguing. We're the representation of them, and we're just going to stand around in the hideaway like fucking dopes. What you do is you have all the nations rally into Origin, and all of the characters are getting significant arcs. We're seeing significant battles. We're seeing big, like, dramatic pieces happening. And then at some point, you can have just where, and Torgal can come along part of the way. And then, yeah, at some point, only Dion, Joshua, and Clive can continue. Maybe that's when Origin disappears up into the air. It would have worked. It would have worked. Not only for character development, not only for resolution, also so it wouldn't have just felt ridiculously rushed. What you want is but a fantasy pairs. Well, dude, this thing, it's not really a massive fantasy what I'm asking for when, look, final dungeon, term in Final Fantasy. I mean, let's go through some of the final dungeons that we had in the series. I mean, 14 had some dopies. I mean, Pandemonium in Type 0. Mwah! Beautiful final dungeon. I really like the Lightning Returns one, the Cathedral, where we see the showdown with Vanille and everything. 13.2, the Academia with the Time Bahamas. That was alright. Orphan's Cradle. I didn't massively like Orphan's Cradle. Sky Fortress Bahamut was dank in 12. 10, yeah, Going Through Sin, Going Through Zanarkand. Awesome. Memoria in 9. Now that's a classic, well done Final Fantasy, like final dungeon. Because that's the other element. I wouldn't have just liked these nations to rally to get into Origin. I would have also have liked there to be some psychological elements. That was the premise. That was the only intriguing thing about Ultima for most of the game, is that he was looking to pull on the threads of consciousness, right? Looking to break them down mentally, find what it is in their hearts and their minds that tethers and pieces together their free will, their sense of self, their humanity. And we had all of these set pieces of Ultima looking to play with that, toy with that. It's like he didn't even fucking learn anything over the game. Ultima didn't gain shit. The only time Ultima tried to do it, was it inside, what was Willode's crystal called? Drake's Spine. There was that scene with Clive. you know, where he went through and he had all of the characters being like, "You're a cock, Clive," or "You should give up," and it felt very cheesy, that scene. You know the one I'm talking about, guys? You remember the one I'm talking about? They were like lined up in the throne room. Clive sat on the throne. I thought they were going to bust into a "Clive, you're a dick" musical. Just like, "You're a dick, you're useless, you're a fucking useless dick, Clive." And he's just like, "No!" Like, that felt like Ultima's last and main attempt at mind games. And then by the time we got to Origin, he didn't even try anything. We didn't even see anything in that regard. In fact, there was some sort of fight going on. Can't remember what was it. And then he tried something, and Ultima was like, "I don't know why this ain't working. How is your will still intact? I don't get it." Ultima should have, not only should we have seen his paradise, Origin, as a city, a technologically advanced city. That's what it looked like from above. We should have been going through the streets of it. We should have been seeing cool Akashic hordes and Akashic bosses. And within that, we're also learning more about Ultima and his main origins, his main goals, some extra fleshing out with him. The deeper we go into Origin, various different nations and significant characters have to help us get through those parts. And we see some like finale, we see what these nations are willing to risk and give up, so this is a unified thing. And then when it gets down to Dion, Joshua and Clive, Ultima brings out the big mind games. We see a situation with Terence where Dion has his will tested, by twisting some sort of scenario with Terence. That would have been really cool. I think there's a lot of people who want to see more Terence stuff. I know I did personally. I think you guys did. For Joshua, I would have liked it to have been Yote, that he tried to play some sort of gameroo with. In the end, it didn't seem like Joshua really gave that much of a fuck about Yote. I know he did, but it didn't really feel like that. And then finally, some extra thing between Jill. That's what I would like Ultima have done, and to have seen their characters through this final dungeon. It's so much significant development and better pacing. But yeah, I know a lot of people, I mean, how does that sound? Would you guys have liked to have gone through Origin, because I know when I've asked this question, a lot of people are like, no, I was glad just to go in and fight Ultima and just get it over and done with quickly. The thing is, when people say that, they say, it's because I've been side questing so much, I just wanted to get it finished. But that's not a good reason for there not being a final dungeon. Those side quests should have been about rallying the nations to Origin. Then another thing I've seen people say, I wouldn't have liked a final dungeon because it would have just been like some sort of boring tower that you just go and fight a bunch of random shit we've already fought like 1,000 times over. Again, not a good reason for a final dungeon. Not to have a final dungeon. Just to say, because in your mind you doubt it would have been good. It should have been dope. It should have been top tier. We should have seen Origin, a world that has no free will, built in Ultima's image, versus all of the nations that we've been to. That's just my POV. I can't understand how it didn't have a fun dungeon. I know, it's crazy. Like FF15 even had a final dungeon. Insomnia, it was short, sure, but even in the short amount there was, it was punchy, it was significant, returning back to Noctis' nation. It's just been overrun by demons. One of the demons within that nation had Nyx Ulrich's blade. Applying that, one of those demons there was actually Nyx. Yeah, I mean, they did it flesh out in the, FF15 Royal Edition, where we actually go through the Insomnia Tower and we fight various Lucii kings. Oh, it's cool. But before even the DLC, at least we got to go in, we fought freaking, was it Cerberus? Then we fought Ifrit. And freaking saw Ifrit doing a bunch of parkour. It's Bahamut's raining down. a bunch of swords. I don't know if you guys have seen 15 and 16 side by side. Man, 15 looks so janky at this point. Where is it? Actually, I want to keep this tab open because I want to read some of the comments on my latest vid. Dion needed some time in the party. Absolutely, I could not agree more, Brotantalus. More time, but even before he went in, I feel like we needed to see Dion, who highly suspected that he was going to die, to go off and have a significant side quest in which he should have become a accompanying party member on the map, accompanying Clive in combat. That would have been so cool. Going and making sure that his nation was set up. That if Dion died in the scenario, his nation and his people would have a future. That sort of shit should not have been left in the hands of a whore. A whore! And an insufferable one at that. An insufferable whore. And yeah, he should have come with us through Origin. I'll quickly show you this, guys. I saw 16 and 15 back to back. 16 makes 15 look like an absolute jank fest. Where is it? Are you guys able to see and hear that? I mean, this is what we've got. We've got Garuda, Stabby, Dankaruni. Oh, let's go to 15s. I remember this Garuda insert was later days. Let's go to the.
Hey, that's kind of laggy.
Is it laggy?
It's lagging.
Is it constantly lagging?
Mm-hmm. The video and you.
What? I'm lagging as well?
Everything's lagging.
Ooh. I feel like it's whenever I go to play videos.
Yeah.
God damn, I need a haircut. I need an haircut. I look like an homeless man. I look like a mushroom. Well, I mean, you guys can check that out for yourselves. Hang on, let me try this one more time. Just watch it, see if it lags. This was freaking tiring. I remember how cool, amazing this thing looked. Look, looking back, look how derpy it looks compared to this Titan. Snapping into, is it really laggy? It is still lag. Yeah. Pez with Maximilian hairstyle soon. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep growing it longer and longer and see what happens. Yeah. Was it? I mean, either way, I'm sure we all remember back when we first saw Titan. You remember your first seeing of Titan in 15?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my God. Yeah. Now if you look at it, like, crazy. It's the same, I guess, with nearly every Final Fantasy mainline, right? Between each one, the jumps are just crazy. How janky that is. The scaling was dope, yo, but overall the animation and the general visual fidelity of it, stank. Very stank. The lag comes and goes. I think it's clearly when I tried to play vids. Yeah. 15 was way better overall. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, going and looking back, your opinions. 15 or 16? What wins for you? 16 does take the win for me. Not in terms of ending. Not in terms of ending. Oh, no. Oh, 15's ending was gorgeous. It will live with me forever and ever. Like, it's just such a shame that 16's ending was what it was. It fucking sucked. In my personal opinion, it sucked. It sucked. It was rushed. We should have had a big final set piece. It should have had all those nations. Because that's the annoying thing is we've seen Square throughout the game be capable of doing these very large, grandiose set pieces. You know, either with, I mean, they did do it obviously with like Tri-Disaster and whatnot. But specifically, the big battle scenes, God, it would have been so cool if one of those was set up in Origin. We even saw Ultima doing really good story time, that sort of like dimension space that we were in inside Drake's Fang. That kind of had like a Memoria feel to it. Like that had a fun dungeon. Something like anti-gravity kind of nonsense going on when we're getting lore. Saw that really work. Even saw Square animate a whole bunch of Akashic behemoths and giants all coming over Wallode like castle. So they done these like big pieces. How do you not culminate all of those ingredients into one big fat succulent ending? How do you miss it? I mean, what other farm dungeons? Yeah, I mean, Memoria to me was dank. Ultimisha's Castle, iconic. It really frustrates me when I go back and I think of all the farm dungeons that we had. I mean, the Northern Crater, a lot of cool stuff happened there. I wouldn't even say it was necessarily the best, the most intriguing, or the most compelling. Northern Crater was a little bit lame. Just like the Seven's ending, I found was really lame. Obviously, now Seven's still one of my favorite because at least within that, big character moments happen still. I don't know. Now I think about it more and more. Seven feels like it might have rushed its ending as well. I don't know. 16 just felt like such a rush ending. And then once you get to all of the pre-6s, like, it actually makes me almost want to weep. Look at these final dungeons, man. Interdimensional Rift, Kefka's Tower, yeah, the Lunar Subterrane. I'm going into the Red Moon's Core. That's Final Fantasy right there, man. Fighting some like big nefarious fiends. That's the thing. I like my fiends to have more than one nefarious fuck. That's why the 4 fiends are really cool. The 4 fiends are really cool because they're tethered to your big villain, right? You got your big villain, but then you got some sub-villains within that, you know? One of them's some windy chick with her tits out. The other one is a kraken. The other one's some lich. Like, big death thing. Cagnazzo. Remember old Cagnazzo? Scarliamonge. Am I saying that right? How do you say that guy's name, Bray? Scarliamonge. Scarlimongi. Scarliamonge, right? Scarlimong. You know of the 4 fiends? Scarlia. I'm spelling that so wrong. You know, and it felt like there was like a pantheon of fiends, not just Ultima. What was it? It was in the FF4 4 fiends. Scarmiglion. What the fuck is this? You had Barbarisha, Rubicante. These were like alternatives of the 4 fiends. Cagnazzo. Read this, Brie. What is it? Scarmiglion. I prefer my pronunciation. I've been saying it since I was a kid. Scarliamonge.
Scrumptious. Scarmiglione. Scarmiglione.
Sounds like a pasta.
Scarmiglione.
What does that even mean? Cagnazzo. No, Cagnazzo. Perhaps we treated you too harshly, 15. I mean, in some areas, absolutely, people did treat 15 harshly and they weren't seeing the beauties of it. But also a lot of areas warranted a lot of criticism. Anyway, there we go. Those are the reasons why I think Final Fantasy 16 needed a final dungeon. I think it majorly missed a trick not doing it. I think it hurt the story. It hurt the pacing. It hurt the resolution for the world. It hurt the impact of the final villain. Yeah, and it basically made...
Did you talk about Dion?
Well, it made Dion, Joshua, and Clive's back-to-back, like death or not death, whatever it is, just nowhere near as impactful as it could have been. Like, how do you not spread those sections out? It blew my mind so hard going into Origin and just being thrust into like 20 minutes of cutscenes immediately. I mean, more than that. More than that. It was like 40 minutes of cutscene. Like, I've never known anyone to like decide, like a game to decide that to be its pacing. Like, enter the final dungeon, kick back and just watch a bunch of crazy shit happen with no player involvement whatsoever until you fight the final boss. That's wildness. How do you have us flying over Origin and seeing like it from below and like you don't give us time to explore that? I don't know what happened, Square. You obviously rushed the ending for whatever reason. I mean, do you think that they intended to do a dungeon with Origin and they just cut it?
It feels like there's a lot of...
Or do you think they never intended? Like, is this Square's intentional ending, or did they run out of time, do you think?
A lot of things feel rushed towards the end, so I feel that it was not intentional. I think they might have ran out of time.
You think they ran out of time?
It feels like that. Like, it feels like they set up Barnabas to be more fleshed out, and they don't do that, so it's like, I don't know. One
last thing, Jake, they did say it would be a roller coaster. For sure, it was a roller coaster. Granted, there was still a side of me that really appreciates the scenes we did get, the ending the way it was. It's not all hate, it's not all dislike. There's absolutely some merit, some value, some really powerful, awesome. And yeah, I was gridlocked into that roller coaster, man. But like I said, sometimes those roller coaster moments, they're just not necessary at the pacing. And the density at which you thrust on it, fuck man, spread that roller coaster out a little bit. Because that's honestly what it feels like. This is why I hate going to theme parks. Because, and honestly, 16 almost felt like going to a theme park on a very, very, like on a summer holiday. Like the kids are off. It is booked to the absolute gills, and you go there and you're spending 3-4 hours in a queue just to get on a ride that lasts 4 minutes. And then it's back in the queue for another 4 hours, so then you can have your 2-3 minute thrill. That's how it ended up playing, and yeah, those thrills were exceptionally thrilling. But paced in all of those like long queues, and by long queues I mean those long, fucking dragging, dirging side quest like sections. Go during school time, Pez. Pez's theories were better than some of the actual story. I mean, some of my theory stuff was in the game. I'm going to do some videos breaking down exactly what ones did show up. But yeah, I do prefer my version of events. I do. I feel like even just a lot of the considerations I was putting to Joshua, there was some better. But anyway, all of that aside, what should we do now for the stream? I'll give you guys a couple of opciones. Shall we rank the characters of 16? Nummy. Watch some random ass videos. Should I jump on and do some NG plus? Just go and see who's going with NG plus. Play a couple of lines of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. Or maybe a game of Uno. I mean, I could play anything. Bit of Strangers of Paradise. Bit of NG plus. rank these characters up? Oh no, what do you guys think?
Do a poll.
Should I do a poll?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll do a poll, guys.
Do you want to hear a comment that somebody left on your video?
Go on. Was it mean about you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be saying it unless it was mean about you.
She's annoying. Find another, please.
Find another, please.
How fucking rude is that?
I mean, look,
People don't like me.
if I for any reason am posting this video out somewhere, I'm gonna tell half you motherfuckers out there who need to hear it, stop treating YouTubers and human beings like they're fucking commodities for your entertainment. Alright? Finally. People are people with thoughts, feelings, emotions, passions, joys. And that's the same that goes to me. Even times when I fucking reacted to things in 16 and I've reacted to it a certain way, but it's not been the way that you wanted me to react to it. I'm not your fucking commodity, yeah, for your entertainment. Fuck off. Yeah? If you are not yet at a stage realizing that human beings are different, with different emotions, different values, different outlooks, like, what kind of pathetic little wiener are you? You're a wiener.
Anybody
Grow
else?
up. Just hanging on, the petrification. And coming out and being like, ah, just switch Brie out.
Just give up on life at that
Switch.
point. Just get a new girlfriend.
Just get a new girlfriend. Just fucking switch her out.
Wow.
She doesn't please me, Pez.
Finally make some juicy content.
I wish to be pleased.
I wasn't expecting
Right.
this to be the nature of the discussion we're having.
Pez, we hear the video playing. Oh, I might have accidentally clicked it in my raging. Go on, what other comments we got in here? Hippocrates wrote the book Final Fantasy and used Joshua's name in honour of both Clive and Joshua. Highly possible Hippocrates or the Undying, but how would he have come up with the title Final Fantasy? This is the one thing that makes me think Clive is alive, guys. It is the use of the word Final Fantasy, the name Final Fantasy. Clive said it. He said it before he punched Ultima. So he did write the book, maybe. Is the audio still in the background? I simply respect the video because most streamers just say "oh" for 30 seconds after the ending, and that is their opinion. I've still got so much I need to cover with this ending. Still so much I need to explore with it as well. To have grieved greatly is to have loved fully. Well, fake one, I remember that quote. Writing this video was playing. I do wonder if Clive just survived based on another theory I heard that was based on the dialogue between him and Hippocrates. Yeah, putting down the pen, picking up the sword. Yeah. This comment. To be honest, I don't really see the ambiguity of this ending. What? This is the most ambiguous ending in the history of ambiguous endings. I've never seen so much ambiguity. I'm awash with ambiguity. Joshua is very clearly alive. No, it's not very clearly. You're making that up in your head, son. There was a literal camera zoom in on Clive casting rays on him. You don't know he's casting rays. You have no clue. If it was, do you know what would make it very clearly? If you suddenly started seeing Joshua breathe, then it's very clear. I fail to see how this is even up for debate. Maybe Joshua saying, I'm dying, I'm gonna die, and then dying in front of us and saying the power Phoenix can't raise someone, so it's purely speculative if what Clive did raise him. And then even if he did raise him, Origin exploded. How did Joshua get off of it? How is it that obvious? Like, to the point, basically, I mean, I can see some avenues where Joshua did survive out of there, but it would have to be some power of God that Clive got that we don't know about. It would, how he got off of Origin, it would have to be some bizarre method. that we can't only speculate at. Maybe Joshua was able to go into soul form just like Ultima was. So Clive didn't save his brother's body, but he saved his soul. And that went on to endure somehow. But, I mean, to say that that's not ambiguous, like crazy. Joshua flew away in his phoenix form. He handed it over. He didn't have it anymore. And he certainly didn't have the energy for it. He was depleted. He couldn't transform out at that point, even if he'd have wanted to. There was a reason why Jill had to fight us at the start of the game in her Shiva form, because she was depleted. Joshua was absolutely depleted. There's no way. He flew out of there. It would have to be something. Right, I'm not saying it's impossible Joshua survived, but it'd have to be something, and that something is ambiguous. But anyway, fair to see if it's up for date. Clive probably dead, but even if he isn't, I don't see how that's a bad thing. Game clearly sets the scene's tone to imply his death, as it did with Joshua. The only arguments against it are thematic hints from earlier scenes, which is the right way to do it, and fairly common. You set up, show one thing, and leave hints that perhaps not all is what initially seems. The whole thing feels like people got really attached to the story and characters and are now in cope mode over the ending, which is understandable, to be fair. I mean, you sound like you're in cope mode, that you're coping that 16 doesn't have a lot of mysteries and it's very straightforward and it's very easy to understand and it's quote-unquote not up for debate. You're coping if that's your interpretation. Why do you think the internet is melting down over this ending? Why have I been going through Reddit pages where fans are gridlocked into some of the most vicious, toxic, back and forths I have seen, honestly, since 15 came out. And then back before then, whether or not 13 was a good game or not. And about linear corridors. This is the most toxic I've seen the fan base become again in a long time. I'm in the Clive Dice camp. Wait, I can't see this comment where somebody's drilling you, Brie.
You can't see it.
I hated the end of 15. No emotion whatsoever. Yeah, no emotion. Man,
It's
15.
on your new video.
15 had a lot of emotion. What are they saying?
It is by Holy 9781.
Maybe I have to refresh it.
Just give up on life at that.
But yeah, I mean, you got to remember, a lot of people hate women, Brie. So
I know. So I'm just automatically annoying because I'm a female.
Yeah. Go grow yourself a penis, and then you'll become acceptable in the world of dialogue and public discourse. Yeah, I don't see the comment. I just typed in holy. Why are you making up lies, Brie?
I swear, it's literally right here. Hold on. Here.
I've seen some people claim that the side quests tell us that Clive survived. Oh, you left the comment back.
Yeah, I did.
Why are you going to battle, Brie? Over what?
The butthole.
Did it hurt your feelings?
It did a little bit.
15's final boss is shit, but the ending itself is good. What you mean? You mean Arden with the blades, where he gets the blades and we get the blades? We're having a big old Beyblade down. I like most of 15's ending. The rest of the game had lots of problems. 15's ending was built up so well that made it even more emotional. Yeah, the emotion carried way beyond what the other 40, 50 hours of the game had set up. They made the ending more emotional than the previous 40, 50 hours. 16 built up a mad landscape of very emotional, very powerful, just sea of opportunity. I don't know how that ending. I don't know how you biff an ending after you've laid up and you've teed up so much greatness. How you biffing it? Well, I know how you biff the ending, because you try to please everyone, And you get so gridlocked into trying to please everyone that you end up not committing to anything, and that doesn't make anything memorable. It ain't gonna be memorable. What are your thoughts on Kiel Leviathan theory pairs? So I covered it kind of earlier in the stream, Alucard, but I don't really see any particular reason why Kiel, if I'm saying that name right, would be Leviathan. Obviously, it's possible. My main hope for the Leviathan is that, yeah, Ultima had a trump card, and particularly whether the crystal disappeared, Drake's Eye. I like the idea that Ultima perhaps hid that crystal. There's that crystal as well as the one in the origin story, you know, the big water basin, where potentially there's 1 or 2 hidden icons. I mean, and therefore a hidden piece of Ultima. Because again, at that part where Ultima said we can all merge back together, with Leviathan the Lost was missing, and the crystal. Because do we know how Drake's Eye was destroyed? Well, was it actually destroyed, like yeeted, kaputted? Like, did it vanish into sparkly doodads in the sky like the other crystals? Or did they just say the crystal got like sunk, or? Because basically there's just an opening for a DLC. That's my main idea with Leviathan Lost. If there's any play on it, it's that one piece of magic still exists in the world, and that the DLC is going to have to resolve that. That's the only thing I can think could happen for a DLC that takes place post 16. Anything else is going to have to be recontextualizing previously, you know, events in the past. What basin is Zemeckis? Yeah, see, whether it's something with the Zemeckis scenario, an alternative continent in this area, Leviathan the Lost being, you know, a hidden piece of magic. Honestly, my biggest hope, though, and it's my biggest disappointment, is that Grigor weren't a thing, man. I really wish Grigor was a summon, a something. I just wish. This is what I liked about Falsi and Fabula Nova Crystallis, is that there were multiple gods with different agendas, and they fought and they schemed and they warred and they plotted and they ployed. It makes me so angry. I feel like I could crack this coconut with my skull. I'm so angry. I was actually going to commit to really trying, but you know, because that guy don't like you, Bree.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
What?
I got an idea. You don't want Bree. You want something else. You want her replaced. Fine.
Oh, babe,
Here's my new streaming partner. It's gonna be very similar to Bree. Go have some green hair.
Is that me?
Is this? Have you got some lipstick? We can.
You want me to put lipstick on the cooking book?
This is now my co-host, Peasant Coco. Peasant Coco. Yeah, hopefully more entertaining than Ginge. Let's hope, and hopefully you don't annoy everyone, and you don't trigger the incels like Bree. Peasant Coco, co-streaming until the end of days, for 100 years, 1,000 years.
What about me?
You've been replaced by Coco.
This isn't your new girlfriend, is it?
I don't know. Can I drill a hole somewhere?
You're nasty. You're wasting the spin.
All right.
Oh.
Not nice.
Oh.
I pray you don't drop Coco. I wonder if I drop Coco.
There's water. There's coconut water.
Yeah, but do you think it would break from this height?
I would be. Don't, babe.
What do you guys think?
If you get coconut water all over the
Yes or no? Will Coco break?
Please no.
Dropping from.
Please no.
It was probably about a 2.5 foot height.
Oh my god. Babe, it probably will.
Place your bets, guys.
I know monkeys like to like smash them open.
Right.
It's definitely smashable. Please
Here we go.
Oh,
Oh no, Coco is. Oh, got a good crack though.
okay, so let's.
So I need to jam a knife in there.
Of that. Let's just leave that alone.
I want to feast like an islander right now.
Stop everywhere, baby. Sorry, headphone users. That was probably bad.
I want some coconut juice. Oh yeah, I need to do a poll. Quite right. Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any alternative theories on Leviathan? I mean, anything that I missed? Are you reading the comments on this stream, Brie?
Yeah.
Make sure you yell some out to me if any are cool and juicy. Or if anyone asks me anything. Ask me anything, guys. I'm just burning time on stream.
You did make a poll and you said you would.
Yeah, I'm going to make a poll now.
What you would do.
Please, Terrence. I need to listen to it again.
It's so good.
Oh no, I just shut off X. X. Fuck's sake, Elon. There's it. One more go.
You will find a girl in this place, Terrence. It's a small, sweet girl, and I owe her my life. Please, Terrence. You gotta care for her, you gotta look after her, you gotta provide for her. Ooh, Terrence, I don't wanna go, but I got to.
Where's my main tab?
Know that I miss you.
Right, poll time.
Know that I don't want to do this. I do not ask this lightly. Gosh, I'll miss you and your thick arms. But I've got to. There are things that I need to do. I must atone, and only I can. It is my burden, Terrence. You must understand. Farewell.
Right, what do? Rank 16 characters, play some NG+, bit of theatrhythm final bar line, which I'll also just do some random other stuff if we pick that, or react to some tube content. I haven't really gone and watched a whole bunch of like extra 16 content, so we could do any of these things, guys. Vote away! Bardibus. Man, I miss Bardibus. In fact, has somebody compiled all of the Bards, F16 Bard songs? Someone put it all into one place? All songs of Spoony Bard. Wait, was his name Lucan? Damn, these Colombian ads. While you guys poll up, I have some goddamn drink. I'm dehydrated. I'm hating that these days my internet I have to enter twice for anything to play.
When lightning struck, his yoke did break, his life his own again. With thunder's roll he knew his fate and would fight it to the end.
I don't think I heard that one. That's a new Bard song.
Well, what do you think? I woke this morn inspired.
Whoa! He speaks to us. Can you guys hear the Bard?
But bitter winds put out his light before the break of day.
Oh, you guys are voting rank 16 characters. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Man, I'm so hot. By the way, did someone drop me schmeckles? Oh yes, Mr. Wutai. Thank you, mate. Is it lagging? Why are you not telling me,
Because I
brain?
wasn't looking at the video first.
But it is. Oh man. Is the volume lagging as well?
Dance autumn winds atop the rotten pier. Return the faithful sing across the blighted mere.
There's so many bard songs I've not heard.
Sweep the land, set holy ground to flame, and frozen hearts to soften start. Release
Huh?
from
Just every time you play a video, it starts lagging.
I don't know why I lag. So the volume is fine, but I lag. Why? Why does this happen? Like, I'm lagging now, aren't I?
Yeah,
I don't know. I probably have too much going on with my Mac.
probably.
It's a shame. We'll listen to the bar the other time. Yeah, it's also probably overheating.
Yeah.
All right. How's this poll going? What are we voting? Let me know when this smooths out. What?
My Reddit. I got a Reddit notification that says, I just hit a child and I regret it.
Come on, let's have a read. Pass it over
I
here.
want to read it. Oh, it's kind of long.
Can you guys let me know when I'm not so laggy? Am I clear? Can you have a look on your laptop?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
It's smooth. Pez, tell Pez to use his PS5 for YouTube instead. You can't, Terrence. You cannot. It's fucking annoying.
It's smooth now.
The PS4 used to have the browser version of YouTube. PS5 only has the app version, and you have to have HDCP enabled, so you can't stream through an Elgato. YouTube
Yeah, it's smooth now.
sucks. It is smooth.
Video.
I'm gonna have to play with that off stream to figure out how to use the browser.
Yeah.
But before we rank the 16 characters, this is gonna be a very difficult task. I just hit a child and I regret it. Should we break this down, guys? Have you already pre-qualified this?
It's just a couple of.
Okay. So 17 is it? 17 male, just hit a child, 11. He's a family friend and we were just walking around because we're on vacation together. We've been living together in the same house for like a week that this vacation lasted. And he's been very annoying the whole week. Kept saying slurs, making fun of me and my girlfriend. I'm in an online relationship. He did it for the whole week. And I get that he's a child and I've been telling him off because I never wanted to hit him. So I always told him to stop because it's annoying me. But today he kept throwing little rocks at me and trying to take me down in a way, like putting his arm around my neck and trying to drag me down and stuff like that. And I told him off. Then he threw a little rock, like right in my face. And it brushed right under my eye. And I panicked because I didn't know what had happened. And when he appeared in front of me, crouched down, I just felt so frustrated with me and I just punched him in the back. Well, you didn't punch him in the face. And he started crying. And wow, I feel so bad for doing that. I don't know. How did I get so frustrated that I hit him? It was annoying. I didn't deserve that. Do I just hit people if I get frustrated? I don't want that. I don't like hitting people.
Aww.
I don't know. I just feel very bad. I don't know what to do.
Aww.
I'd say honestly, fair play.
I mean, he got stoned in the eye.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. If you're 11 years old and you're being a bit of a knob, like, you don't, maybe not a punch, because a punch can get a little bit, but honestly, a little backhand up the side of the head. Like, yeah.
I'd pick him up by his hair and
Yeah.
shake him around.
Yeah, honestly, just. But you got to be careful. I mean, he's lucky because he's 17, so
Yeah.
if he was 18,
he could do some hard times with that.
It gets a bit icky, the situation.
Because kids can just do whatever the fuck they want. And you can't even do anything.
But honestly, some kids they do need a little. They do need a little yeeting. Yeah, I agree with this. Bro, I had a little cousin, he was spoiled and ruthless. Once I was eating and he was like spitting on my food and laughing. Told him several times to stop, but he didn't until I just spat a fat piece of slime right between his eyebrows. He started crying and throwing up.
Good.
Sometimes you need to show kids that they shouldn't fuck with you.
Yeah.
And if they aren't smart enough, they will keep a note that no one will let them do what they want.
Yeah.
Either because they are children.
Crying.
Just,
Fucking kids.
right, if you find any other like good saucy Reddits,
Yeah, I'll let you know.
let me know. I don't know. Is there anyone who agrees? What's your take, guys?
Whose team hit the child?
Yeah.
Whose team?
Would any of you
should have done worse?
hit an 11-year-old? Do you guys think physical discipline in any manner is ever appropriate?
Puberty age kids can be real
bum cheeks.
stinky.
Oh yeah, they bum cheeks.
They become very evil around that time.
Yeah. I don't know. A mix of replies.
Some people are like, "Oh yeah,
you shouldn't feel bad. You should never do that." OP, you're a really sweet kid, but you definitely deserved that punch.
He did.
He was being a little shy. It's what you call a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I have that too. Like, I get hurt, you know. Sometimes I just, what? Yeah.
If a kid spits on you, they deserve to get a smack.
Oh,
All right, should we do it? Should we rank these characters? Oh, I'm going to have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings. 16 characters as a whole, though, really, really like the cast. I think I'm going to look at this list and be pretty happy and pretty content. I think the writing, the development, the authenticity, the emotion, these felt like very real characters. I don't think there's many, but there's definitely a few I'm going to bloody hate, but not many. All right, should we do this? God, this feels like an undertaking. I've never done a tier list. So typically how you do it, you don't just rank your S and your S to Ds, right? You also then try to put them in order from the best ever to worst. So you've even got your S's ranked, right, from highest to lowest. Nectar is a Chad. I'm going to bomb Nectar into the ground when I see him.
Why?
For sure.
Like him?
Fuck him. Fuck his repetitive adventures. He repeated to me 3 adventures. He's like, did I tell you about this adventure? And then he told me the same adventure.
No.
Unforgivable, Nectar.
They're different.
Don't gaslight me, Brie.
I'm not gaslighting.
Nectar repeated an adventure to me at least 3 times.
That's because you probably re-asked it. He's not repeating himself. And also, he's
full screen pairs.
He gives you the hunt board.
What, you want to go full screen with this?
So you're smaller and the thing is...
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Patreon pairsies. Shout out to all of ye.
But Nectar is the hunt board guy.
Yeah, but Nectar...
He gives you access to your hunts.
He doesn't give you access to your hunts.
He
No, he doesn't. Nectar hangs out near the hunt board and grifts. He's definitely taking a 15% commission for all the things that I'm killing. He's a fucking grifter.
Why do you think this about him?
I know it about him. He's a stanky...
Why do you think he tells you all about the hunt board and gives you information on hunts?
To groom us. He's grooming us. Nectar's a groomer.
Okay, you're about to get sued.
Alright.
Sued by Nectar.
You guys want this screen instead, yeah?
That's the game.
Hold up.
Oh, there we go.
I got
That's a bit better.
Please, Terrence.
Please, Terrence.
Okay, I'm just gonna do it like that. Let's go do it like that. Alright. I want to be able to see the chat now. Clive can't read. He needs Nectar.
I could read you the interesting ones. I could read you the interesting ones as they come up if you're focused on them.
What, Nectar's adventures?
No, like you said, you can't see the chat now.
Oh, right, yeah. All right, let's dive in. Clivey boy, Clive Rossfield. I mean, absolute S tier for me personally. One of the best protagonists in the series. Human, we see such a range with him, from his revenge arc to actually seeing him head over heels in love. Even before we got to see Clive be really, really derpy with like Uncle Byron, one of the best scenes in Final Fantasy history ever. Crandall of Camelot. I could see like little derpy elements in Clive. You could see there was a sweet guy in there. Clive is a sweet guy. But if I had to give him some criticism, I feel like Clive sometimes spouts a bunch of cryptic stuff that he doesn't fully understand. I feel like he doesn't take plot elements as seriously as he should at times. There were moments I felt like Clive was just kind of skipping and skimming over like very important stuff and just assuming he knew best on certain scenarios, and when the guy that you're thinking you know better than is God. It's like, I don't know. I think Clive needed to be a bit more reflective in some areas, but by and large, what an absolute dude. The Talkster. Oh, I mean, in terms of those non-vocal characters, right? So we've had Kemari, we've had Queena. What other ones we had? You kind of just your derpy side piece characters. Not that Torgal's derpy, but Umaru, yeah, Umaru, the bloody useless Yeti. Like Torgal goes. I don't know if I can put him S tier though. Because I really want to, because obviously like Torgal's better. You can't put him S tier.
Brandon says D for what the dog doing.
Right. There's only so high you can put a character incapable of speech. I think placing him at A is still pretty significant. And the only thing that would honestly take Torgal to S tier for me is if he had been there at Origin. If they had done Origin differently, you know, him coming in when Jill was almost getting executed and transforming out, big, very, very big. I would have liked to have seen a third transformation state. I would like to have seen Torgal go big, ethereal, balky boy, and you know, actually at least be able to get not his nose, not in just Hippocrates nuts, but maybe God's as well. That would have taken him to S tier. Jill! Jill. Damn. A classy lady with a very strong backstory. I did like her Iron Kingdom section. I mean, she just went full revenge arc as well. She definitely didn't just prop up Clive as a male protagonist, as some people have accused her of. Very much she held her own ground. Very solid. Loved her presence. Well, could they have taken Jill a little bit further? I don't know. When I go to those like romance scenes, they were really, really nice. I just feel like there needed to be something a bit richer maybe with like her nation, with like Northern Territories. I definitely feel like my OG theory that who we found out was Lord Commander could have been like someone from the Northern Territories. Like, where are all the Northern Territories people? You're telling me that not only did like Elwyn just yeet the nation, but did he commit genocide as well? Is there not a single Northern Territory left?
James says she was left in the hideaway too much, in my opinion.
Left in the hideaway a bit too much? Yeah, I suppose so. I think there were just, I do agree, there were extra heights Jill could have gone to. But I do like her characterizations. I do like that she is a very nice blend of, I was going to say like wholesomeness and sincerity, but she isn't like Yuna. She isn't like pure and innocent. No. Far, far from it. In fact, when you go back to see Jill in the older parts of the game, and especially even the way Shiva is animated, there's like some dead-eye coldness in there. That I think makes Jill a very cool, unique, nuanced character. You know, I'm putting her S tier. I'm going to put her S tier. Not as high as Clive. So how do you order it as Clive is higher than Jill? Baby's doing his first tier list. Ray, what do? Do I put Jill on the left side or the right side? What goes higher? The higher they are, the left moving out. Yeah. I'm putting Clive higher, so he goes on the left side, right? Because I'm going to try and order them. S is just S. I don't think S should be just S. I think left to right also indicates higher. Joshua Rossfield, straight up to S tier, but...
You can also change these around as you go.
I will change them around as we go, probably, yeah. I see Joshua, everything with him as a kid, and obviously the setup to that, and even just that really like pure scene he had with Clive as a boy, and obviously the biggest mystery of what had happened to him, where was he, the reveal of him being roped with the guy, and that first moment where Joshua came in and saved, like, imprisoned Ultima, that was also cool. Like, Joshua became one of the dankest characters in my eyes I had ever seen. And then he fell apart a little bit. It honestly fell apart when it came to uncovering the lore for me, when it came to like going and interpreting, you know, the artwork. That was all just so disappointing to me at that point. It's like Joshua pivoted off to go find like important things about Ultima. And I guess that's more of like Ultima being shit because there wasn't much there. But even just like the reveal and the build up of it all, I feel like that fell apart. And then I definitely feel like his involvement with Yote, I feel like they started showing some sort of like personal emotional range between him and Yote. And then they just sort of turned their back on it. Like, was he in love with Yote? Not really. I thought that's where it was going for 1 minute. Yote definitely had like emotional affection for him.
They didn't give us enough.
And then I did like it when Joshua came and he was like hyper aware of Clive and his bullshit. I think he punched him. So I tell Clive, I know you've taken Jill's power. Stop thinking you're going to be doing this all by yourself. While at the same time, the irony of like Joshua also being the biggest martyr in the game. The biggest martyr. Like marching himself to death, transforming into Phoenix when he arguably had the least stability of everyone. At one point, he was even trying to argue against Dion, wasn't he? Like, no, I'll be the one to fly us up there. Dion's like, dude, I got it, all right? I got it. So, do I put him higher than Jill, though?
Jose says, you're going to need to make a double S tier for Dion. SS.
Yeah. Yeah, Dion's going probably... Oh, we'll get there. I'm going to actually place... This is hard. Joshua, higher or lower than Jill. I'm just going to place... fuck. That's too tough. Maybe just because the origin point for Joshua coming into the story was more compelling, like the reveal of it. But then I do feel like it kind of got a little bit more hollow, like actually how Joshua survived. It was just, he survived. He got pulled out of the ruins by the Undying. That was it. There was no like crazy, intriguing, awesome plot element. He just went to the same robed-hooded tailor as fucking Ultima. So I felt like Jill's was kind of more impactful in that sense. There being a slave for that many years and whatnot. Sid! Okay. Sid was a rubbish character. Really didn't like Sid. I don't know why everyone makes such... yeah, I'm fucking around, obviously. Yeah, I'm putting Sid straight to the top. Sid, for me, I think he hit the perfect balance of Valisthea-like stage presence. He was the leading man, and at every moment he was on screen, he was witty, he was insightful, he had emotional range on him, he had compassion, he seemed like a gem in this world of dog crap. And yeah, I think the way he went out, obviously he went out pretty early, I think it was powerful and impactful. Stabbing Ultima through the hand, lighting up his last splegan, his last doobie. And yeah, all of the advice, this very stoic, down-to-earth advice he gave Clive, beautiful. It was beautiful, it was meaningful, it was heartfelt, and it fit him being the wise old wizard Rama. Best Sid in years, and probably many, many years to come.
Might be the best Sid ever.
I think he might be the best Sid of all time, to be honest. Yeah. Benedicta. Bear to the bum Benedicta.
That's hard.
The dominant fucker. wasn't a single dominant she hasn't ploughed. I mean, I'm assuming, yeah, she took Sid. She took, yeah, she took. Well, she couldn't have got Dion. Dion's gay. There's no chance.
Yeah,
But she had Barnabas. She had some of that 40-year-old Void D, and some of that Earthen D. I don't want to reduce Benedicta to that, but that's kind of what her role was in the game. And I don't know, I really felt a mix between total disdain for Benedicta, which I know the game wanted us to, but sometimes it did land on comical villainy, like comical levels of it, when she would like stab some of her own like allies for next to no reason. It felt a little bit excessive at points. But I think the way she went out in the conclusion, especially when it built up to that scene of her losing Garuda Man, that's powerful. It's going to be a fight between B and A. C for you, cock. Yeah, and I mean, she would have slept with Clive as well. I mean, she offered. Quickly, while we're on this point of Benedicta, I did see a streamer, and it just told that Garuda section was awful, and they put tons of trigger warnings throughout saying that Square Enix had crossed a line because sexual assault was being implied. You know, when those bandits come up and they reach for Benedicta? They're saying that was clearly implied sexual assault, and that Benedicta has a history of sexual assault, and that the fact that that's in Benedicta's history and then they had Garuda fighting on her knees is inexcusable, and it is totally tone deaf for Square Enix, and they are making a mockery of sexual assault victims.
Okay, I don't agree whatsoever.
I know. I saw the stream and I was like,
I mean,
what?
The Garuda being on her knees is like a clear kind of cringy.
It is, but that is what fan
service.
Yeah, that is fan service, but also thematically what she reduced herself to.
Yeah.
I think there is
She was all over everybody.
Everyone seems to make out.
She is a whore by choice.
She is a whore by choice. But the only reason I'm going to place Benedicta pretty high, and I don't reduce Benedicta's like sexual ploys in the game to nothing, because like Cindy Orams in 15 was nothing. That was nothing. Benedicta's had a reason. Now, being in a medieval world, using your body and your lust and your appearance to leverage yourself in the world, that's just like a part of reality. Like, that's a reality for some women that they do that. And I think that they played it in actually kind of a pretty mature way. Especially with how, Sid was saying, like, why are you doing this, Benna? Why have you, reduced yourself this almost? But I don't think any female character weaponizing her sexual wiles like has no place in a video game. It absolutely does.
It's real.
And the fact that she was even like yelling in rage, like, I use my talents to my advantage, and you would say there was shame in that. It was like it had weight, it had meaning, it had significance. It wasn't nothing like fan service. So yeah, I'm still gonna stick Benedict up there. My hands, your hands, my hands, and they will not let me go. It's Hugo's turn. I did like Hugo's impact on the story, as it's got really dark all of a sudden in here.
The sun's going down.
Creepy stories with pens. Let me get rid of this poll a sec. Let me think on Hugo. How do I delete this poll? End poll. Yeah, see, there it is immediately. King of the Simps. I mean, he legitimately fell head over heels for Benedicta. I did like the personality on him. Just this totally rough, brutal, arrogant oaf of a man. Fit Titan so perfectly. With all of his bling and his big old freaking Dalmec mansion. And it was a pretty cool section of the game, fighting off against him. I do think, though, in terms of his character, the fact that he never questioned further, like whether it was Sid who actually sent the head in the box, and that was like for 5 years. For 5 years, I feel like Hugo. He's a bit of a dummy. I definitely think he just like raged out way too hard with no sense of logic, which I don't know. I guess that's supposed to play with his character, right? Just being, I don't know. This is hard. C or B. I kind of think like Benedicta and Hugo are equal in terms of their characters. Their characters were like cool and significant and very like distinct. They had a distinct personality. Their stage presence was really cool to behold. But yeah, there was obviously limitations. They were plot point characters, really. I would place him below Benedicta. Dion, where is the triple S tier? Triple S tier for this man, the best character that may have existed in the series. Full stop, maybe. Oh, yeah. How do I really put my finger on Dion? It's hard, because even before I said it in my stream, do you remember my reaction? I was just like looking at Dion and I was just like, wow, this guy, this dude, I don't know anything about him, but there is this soulfulness and just the way that they've designed his character, just his face, his eyes. Before I even knew anything, I was just so compelled. I was like, damn, this guy being king of the summons, and leveraged as prince of this nation. And every moment is on screen. Dion was just awesome. And then the more you learn about him, being the only one with goodness, compassion, morality, decency, actually cares about being a leader of his people, recognizing what that is, like literally in terms of trying to lead the nation, but also figuratively, the image that he is for his people. And then really trying to implore and being locked into, goddamn, like being gridlocked between Annabella and fucking Ultima. I mean, that is a shit sandwich of evil to be like wedged in between. And to see Dion stuck in that situation and try to do it peacefully, try to implore. And then, we already knew as players at that point, this was going nowhere, Dion. Just like take action. And to see that that's exactly what he did a scene later. Staged a coup, rose up against it, threw down with his dad. He just played everything, just the best that he possibly could. And so when I play it into him with his story, yes, do I have the criticism that I think that Dion definitely showed that not only did he want to try to help with the Ultima situation, but also save his nation. I definitely think Square Enix should have gone and had, like I said, Dion go to his nation. Something more significant. I know we had the scene with Medicine Girl and like sending Terrence. Please, Terrence. You got to provide for her. You got to care for her. I know that was supposed to be the symbolic showing of Dion looking after his nation. I just feel like there needed to be more on that department. But that really doesn't subtract from Dion, though. From Dion as a character. And then, you could have had that whole picture right there, and there would have been one missing piece. You're seeing Dion with his duty in most of those scenarios, being gridlocked into his duty. What Square Enix managed was just in that little moment of putting Terrence in there as well. Anyone who says Terrence and Dion being gay and Dion having that relationship is meaningless, you're just kind of you're a bit of a bigot, because that is really the only reason why you would dislike Dion having kind of an intimate relationship, because it showed us a dynamic, a personal dynamic of Dion. When you put all of that together, top tier Dragoon, top tier Bahamut. I mean, the fact that he is both Dragoon and a Bahamut. He's so fucking cool, doing like the Dragoon dives and everything. Man, you've just taken two of the most awesome concepts in Final Fantasy and just put a dank character behind it. Woo! That is cool. Oh no, that is true. I mean, Alex Marty, we never saw Dion semi-prime. Oh, yeah, you're right. That would have been dope. That would have been really, really dope. The semi-priming stuff was all really awesome. Right, we gotta get hustling. Barnabas, Barnabas is a toughie. Barnabasy, man, like you set this guy up really well. The mystery, the general aesthetic and look of him, especially with Odin, like everything in that regard. Even just being king of Walode and the way you teed that up, like you teed up even through Sid. I ain't gonna be a part of that Maniac's plan and the few areas you had him show up. You set him up so well, and then you didn't pay him off. You just didn't pay him off, and for that, I can't believe it. I am placing him lower than freaking Benedicta and Hugo. And it's just so annoying because even in that last fight, like, you just reduced Barnabas to just being a religious nutter. Have I told you about the Lord? Let me tell you about the Lord. No, I mean, all of that, like, heavy religious, like, fanaticism was cool, and, like, especially seeing that range. You know, when, like, Barnabas's face is, like, creased up, and he's, like, laughing, and the hysteria is, like, building, and... But then you just paid it off with just this really, like, flippant, really weak, like, debate around Will. And Barnabas be like, well, maybe I should have kept Will after. It seems like Will might actually like be a bit powerful and shit. It's like Barnabas has lived on this. I mean, that's the thing. Barnabas is how old? Being a part of the children of Zemeckis. It said that he was on the throne for 40 years. Does that mean children of Zemeckis? Is he part of like a bloodline that lives longer? I don't fucking know. Because you didn't really tell us, Square. And anyone who has like lived on the planet for like an extra amount of time, or certainly been in Barnabas's position, he's learned about mankind and free will. But you don't have Clive Rossfield come along and spout some like random bullshit about will and just have Barnabas change his mind on stuff. It's like, you seem like you had this character with all this conviction, all this motive. He played such a huge geopolitical like role in this game, and then it went nowhere. It went nowhere with him, with his nation. You didn't show us nothing. One lady in all of Walode, Ida. Like, we didn't see like the ideological influence that he had made. You didn't even show us a flashback. Like, you could have showed us flashback to when Sid was like Lord Commander and showed us some of the like rules and ideology that Barnabas was implementing. The list is endless of things I could say, what you could have done with Barnabas. And they just didn't do it. So I can't believe I have to place him on a C. Yeah, so many drop threads and missed opportunities. Hell yeah, Brie. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when you're still fighting off against him and he still has those mannerisms and the voice acting, he's still so good. It's so good. And that's why it's so bad. This might be one of the most missed opportunity characters I've ever felt in Final Fantasy. Full stop. I would place, I'm going to quickly jump ahead. I'm going to rank Yote. Just because I would say Yote sits there as a Corleonis style character. A character that you look at and you're like, well, you seem like you could be really significant on a level. I kind of think you have a really cool like mannerism to you, attitude, voice. I like the look. You know, you're kind of in this cool, nuanced position. Like Yote following Joshua all this time, the only person guiding the Phoenix, the mystery, the fucking like the what's the word I'm looking for? What's a MacGuffin? What's a MacGuffin?
Are you speaking English?
Yeah, what's a MacGuffin? Is that the same as ace in the hole?
Is that an animal?
Why is it so dark in here?
A MacGuffin.
Is a MacGuffin an ace in a hole? MacGuffin.
Is that a British thing?
Yeah, is an object, device, or event that is necessary to the plot and the motivation of the characters. Yeah, I thought that she was going to be a very big MacGuffin. Just like I thought Corleonis was going to be a MacGuffin. And then Yote wasn't quite as bad because we did kind of see more scenes and scenarios and emotion from her. Specifically, we got a little side quest with her care for Joshua, her commitment as an Undying. But then they just did her rotten. They just had Joshua cast her off. And you saw, like, Yote, she had like a kick dog expression, like, don't send me away. And it's like, not just temporarily send you away, it's like, send you away and then have you standing around at the hideaway by yourself sad.
You know what would have been sick? Is if they would have used Yote, like, added her to the party with us when we got Joshua, make her, like, cool and strong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like there's just so much, especially in terms of the Undying. I felt like we went on a little bit of the side thing with like the Undying and the ideology, but it wasn't really cool, like that well crafted. It was just a bunch of dudes mostly, who are all very fanatical, and they don't seem like they give a shit about sort of humanity or livelihood or anything like that. And that's kind of why Clive had an issue with them, right? And why Clive sort of had seen some of the other Undying, and he was like very sketchy. He's like, Joshua, you're keeping friends with like a bunch of weirdos, mate. And like, that's where Yote would have been the really cool like middle ground, because Yote wasn't some cold, calculated, uncompassionate. How did she get into the Undying? How did she fit into it? You know, what was her role within it? I don't know all these questions. I don't feel like I can put her down on D tier.
I mean, given the fact that she's the one that's going around with Joshua out of all the Undying, like, she's got to be powerful.
Yeah, like even just getting to see a scene with her. That is very true, right? Like the fact that the Undying are there to protect Joshua, and Yote is the main escort. You would assume that she's the best the Undying has to offer, right? It's a good point. C or D, guys?
C, because obviously there's the potential there, I think.
I mean, C, yeah, if we're going to do it just for potential. I think I'm going to leave D for just... Yeah, C is flopped, but high potential. Yeah. D, you've got to, like, I've actively got dislike, yeah. Oh, man, Lord Commander. Frankly... You know what, just for the role that he did play in terms of when he first showed up, he stabbed Hugo through the middle and carried him off, and he started weaving in all of this mythos. Come to me, mythos. But that was cool, and I'm going to place him a little bit higher than D. The only reason he's not in D is because I had a dank fight with him. The showdown that me and this motherfucker had, no boss checkpoints. I mean, it was how many wipes? It was a saga. It was a saga. And just for that alone, he's going to go high just because I had such a thrilling victory with him. I do feel like, though, the fact that he was Sleipnir, we never really saw that. Like, so did he ever permanently disappear? Because we saw scenes.
You have to go into the lore to find out, though, which is what pisses me off.
What did you have to find out in the lore?
I went to the lore and it said, because he is they said, he's a creation of
he was an Aegis. He was a creation of Barnabas's.
So it said in the lore, so when Barnabas died, he died.
Yeah, so when Barnabas died, he died. Yeah, so what's kind of frustrating to me is in that final showdown with Barnabas, obviously he transformed and he was on Sleipnir at one point, right? Mm-hmm. Why didn't the Lord Commander show up in that scene? We had like a moment of Barnabas and Lord Commander on the like hilltop, and they had like really cool, mysterious like vibe to them. Like they should have showed Lord Commander one last moment at the end. Yeah. We should have had a tag team fight. A fucking tag team fight with Barnabas and Lord Commander, maybe with two of our boys, I don't know, or two of our characters. Shit, that would have been sweet. And then I've also got to place him pretty low because what the hell did they do with him on that? You know, when there was multiple Lord Commanders, me and Bree, this really cheesed both of us off. How do you take it where we had such a cool fight with Lord Commander, then he splits into like 10 or 15, and both of us, we were like, oh, I am wrecked. Oh no, wait, he's squishy. He's as squishy as any mob in this game. He's a basic mob. Oh look, I'm fucking juggling Lord Commanders. Woo! Like fuck's sake.
Yeah, that was a bit.
How do you go and not make that at least feel like mini boss-ish? Like at least akin to a mini boss. And especially when it was set in the scenario of like getting the boat, like casting that off for the first time, like we have to run. We're like, Uncle Byron had to jump 20 foot into the boat because it was like so urgent. But all of the Lord Commanders were just squishing like fucking they were paper Sleipnirs. Dion versus Sleipnir would have been kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Dion would have absolutely wrecked his ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
That would have been cool. Him. Dion would have got his little Twinkie, fine, effeminate body and wrecked it.
I did not mean that.
Bree's out here writing fanfics in her head.
Yo!
Yaoi!
That was a
Is it yaoi?
Yowie.
Yaoi.
I think it was just a slip.
Oh man. Gotta vote on Ultima next. Ugh. Mm. Look, like I said, guys, I've been watching some like Lovecraftian, like Ultima lore kind of ideas, people who are taking the concept of Ultima and relating it to myths and religions and ideas and stories that when you watch those videos it seems really cool. Just like back in the day, and I still do it now, I could speak about Ultima and how he's like more or less the demiurge and everything with the divine spark and the fallen archons and the concept of why demiurge hates the world that he's in, the prison, the escape, the duality, the polarity, all of these different things. But that's nothing to do with fucking Ultima. Do you know what I mean? Like when you need a whole bunch of like external material to make Ultima go from being boring as hell and like basic pre-Final Fantasy V villain, like God, he's an arsehole, created the world. He's basically doing some sort of human kind of experiment, find a Gito, basically. When I have to add in shitloads of supplementary material to make Ultima go from being boring as hell to mildly interesting, that ain't it. That ain't it. And the fact that, especially when it comes to Final Fantasy, my view of what a villain is and the level and the status is much higher now. And that's why for like even Ultima, who would be acceptable, like other mediums, for Final Fantasy, it don't cut it. It just don't cut it, in my personal opinion. Not even really conceptually interesting, the presentation behind him, just all hollow. You know the biggest, most, what you could call interesting thing about Ultima is when we were sitting there discussing, is he an I or we? Is he a singular? Is he part of a race? Yeah. What was this race? Is he fallen? Is it kind of an Emmett Selk situation? And he's trying to restore other people that he loves. He says like kin, and he says like brothers and stuff. And it's like, that's the only kind of interesting thing you have to muse over with Ultima. Then you find out that means fucking nothing, and it's going nowhere, and there's nothing to it. Great, cool. And that's why all those moments I've been talking about Ultima were pointless, were meaningless, because I was overthinking. I was overthinking all of these possibilities of what could be and what could come from him and what's the links and what's the... How do you not do that, Square Enix? How do you not do that? And I maybe I'll place him higher than D just because he's exceptionally creepy.
Yeah, he has a very good presence.
He has a very strong presence. He does feel like pure evil, pure dead in the eye, fucking stank evil. like maybe I'll place him above Lord Commander, but like, come on, for our main villain, like, did Pez fall asleep in the final battle? The final battle was cool, and like, obviously the thing is, everything in the final battle with him, you know, actually gaining some emotion, going back to identifying his eye, talking about, you know, actually showing some fears and some human qualities. To me, that just frustrated me. That didn't like elevate Ultima to me. That just pissed me off. Because all of a sudden in this fight, he just suddenly switches to, kind of recognizing that he as the creator is just as flawed as the creation. And I understand, you know, that aspect. And I've even watched videos talking about, you know, like God in the old Genesis, when he yeeted, you know, the world with a flood. It's like, he didn't care. Like, this version of humanity had no salvation, so he just yeeted them off the map. Ultima is a bit different, you know, to that Old Testament kind of God, because at least that God at some point had some hope in his creation. And when that hope and the salvation was gone, he clean slate. Ultima never had that kind of hope for humanity. He never had that kind of emotional connection. He never had any kind of love or care or anything for his creation. It was really just as bleh as that. So to suddenly see him at the end, like, expressing some emotion, well, that just kind of frustrated me. Because we didn't see any of that in, like, his connection to this race he might have been a part of, anything to do with his creation. There wasn't enough nuance there, basically, for me. Yeah, there was a cutscene where you see Ultima fuse with his brothers. See, when you say fuse with his brothers, it's like, yeah, are these like other Ultimas, as in part of his race? You know, because he says race, and that the blight crept up on their back. I do kind of lean on this interpretation. Bree leans on the Ultima as just a singular kind of entity. I think they were a race, and then they learned how to shirk off their human forms, and then they almost became like amorphous Ultimas over centuries and stuff. And then, yeah, some of those Ultimas became mother crystals. And even after their work was done, you know, they were still confined to it, and Clive set them free and they merged back together. Cool, fucking great. Like, high school, like, writing right there. Like, that's some teenage writing bullshit. That's not good writing. That just isn't.
It is lazy.
It's just, and I just can't believe they It feels like basically Ultima was there just to be a template for everything else to happen around, and then it's like they inserted Ultima in it as a template. Like, well, we'll build all the other elements around it, and then forgot that Ultima was just a template, and just like left him in there, and then didn't expand on anything. Ultima's too high on the list. I know. Where would you guys? Let me just see. Where would you guys place Ultima?
I put him on D.
You put him on D.
Because the villain.
See, it is important to have a good. See, I'm placing him on C. Should I place where I think the character deserves, or how it actually makes me feel?
Well,
because I don't know. And this, like, what did it make me feel at different parts of the game? Because there was legitimately a section of this game where I was under the impression, this could be one of the freakiest, like, coolest villains we've ever had in the series. I had that thought at one point. What a fucking idiot I was. And therefore, like, if I had to put like my disappointment, I'd go D. But I have to like give him the few merits of like characterization, presence, and mystery, and like conceptual ties to like other religiosity themes and mythology themes.
Yeah,
maybe a C. It's.
I might be a little bit blinded by my disappointment in him.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I think just because I can dive into some themes where Ultima may have some extra merits, and I think you're gonna have to dig, and you're gonna have to dig fucking deep. Make sure your shovel is sturdy and strong, because you're gonna have to dig a lot to get some real merit. But I can't place him like You know, and now I think about it, I need to place Lord Commander down on D. No. Yeah. No. Shit. Fuck it, I'm moving on. I'm leaving the tier list like that. Ambrosia. Like, okay, yeah, you know, Ambrosia getting twatted in the eye was the first time my heart was just like, ah!
Yeah.
But the Chocobo Slaughter, the Chocobo Massacre, and Ambrosia was a good girl, right? Girl?
Good girl.
Yeah. Right, the little quest, getting Ambrosia back and the loyalty, like, yeah, Ambrosia's a good chokey.
And as far as chocobos go,
As far as Chocobo goes. I'm gonna praise, guys, Ambrosia, higher or lower than fucking Ultima? Seriously? I can't believe I'm asking this fucking question. Like,
I mean, Ambrosia.
a chocobo over our main villain. Fuck.
I think I put chocobo higher.
Fuck me, really?
I might.
Jesus Christ.
I might.
Oh, that actually kills my soul. That's even.
Saving Clive.
That's a question.
Getting yeeted in the eye. That was a good scene.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
A good chocobo.
Yeah. Like, does Ambrosia have the same impact for me as Chichery? Not quite. But I mean, obviously, Chichery. Jesus. Chichery hit hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, higher Pez. I mean, fuck's sake. Okay, I'm actually, for the levels of it, I'm just putting Ambrosia higher. Because Ambrosia didn't disappoint. And as far as like Chocobo range, actually, no, because Ambrosia does disappoint me a little bit because there wasn't any kind of Chocobo racing. There wasn't any kind of interesting handling mechanic. The drifting was a little bit lame. That's the sound of Bree pissing. Bree! That's very discordant.
Why are you yelling at me for peeing?
I ain't putting Ambrosia above Yote though.
No.
What do you think of my list so far, guys? Pretty accurate list, Pez. Karen. Okay, Karen. I'm actually. Oh, yeah. I can't put her lower than Torgal. Actually, yeah, she was actually pretty A tier.
Yeah, I like her.
Karen was witty. She made me scared at times.
Yeah.
Just feeling like Clive got to her with a fucking tail between her legs.
Yeah.
And I've literally met old women like her, like old, just gruff, brutal, straight to it. And there was like, Jesus, that quest where we found out when she was younger.
Yeah.
She screwed someone over. And then what did she do? Did she cut his fucking tongue out?
I don't remember
She did.
What but
She did something messed up.
She's brutal.
Yeah, Karen is brutal. Oh God, maybe A is too high for Karen though. I don't know.
Go with what you feel, my heart.
Karen is a D. Nah, Karen really
She's great.
she won me over in the end.
You too. Especially
Yeah, I'm not.
how much she takes care of Torval.
I'm still gonna put Torval higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. She cut his eye out. That was it. Yeah, she cut his eye out.
She wow.
And old school badass, very old school badass. But was there significant emotional range for her?
I think so. The way that she took care of Torgal, how she randomly would be.
Yeah,
like,
we saw soft sides for her with
Yeah.
Torgal, obviously with
and sometimes with
Goots,
Clive too.
and sometimes with
She'd have
Clive.
like little moments. here.
Yeah, and going back to when with Sid, she spoke up. Everything was it. She did have enough emotional range, I'd say, to make it A. And I just enjoyed her character, so that's what I played. You know, Goots, you actually kind of won me over in the end. I found you really freaking annoying early days, but you actually did become pretty endearing and funny, but still not that much. I'm actually. Still Goots above Ultima though. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm actually arguing with myself whether he's above or below Ambrosia. I'm gonna go above because there was some like sincerity and just that simple, pure decent oath.
Good oath.
He's a good oath. I haven't got any D's yet. Now Tarja, I'm going to place Tarja pretty high. I'm going to place her.
She's an A.
For me, she's only a high B.
Oh, really?
She's top B. She's above Benedicta and Hugo. Yeah.
That's fair. Wherever you're at with her.
Because I did end up really liking her back. So obviously being basically what felt like the hideaway mum. Like, not just the healer, just like bossing everyone back into their beds. But then she did go beyond that in terms of, you know, discovering that she was a bearer. And rather than using her magic to heal, you know, she used other. She actually became a proper doctor. And yeah, Tarja had some cool moments. Tarja's a good girl. A for Tarja. I don't know. What more could I have seen?
Where do you want to put her?
I've got to think about it.
Because other people might put her in an A, but you don't necessarily have to.
Because I was going to say, for me, I need to see some sort of personal, emotional connection with her. And she did have that with her previous tutor, which, now that's pretty profound that she gave him that medicine that was putting him to sleep, right?
Yeah.
And he was the one who invented that medicine.
Yeah.
And just her putting her mentor quietly into death and telling him to let go, and just some genuine passion, and there was some heart and feel there with Tarja. Tarja. B, she needed more screen time. That's what I feel. I feel like for her to have been higher, she would have needed more. But she didn't need it. Like, B isn't always bad. Some characters in games are supposed to be Bs.
Yes.
Their roles are supposed to be Bs. Like, for me, that is what Benedicta was. Really strong characterization. Played her role significant. Really, really enjoyed her. Not much more I could ask or want from her. Because she's a B to me. But that doesn't mean that that's because she's bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I've seen a lot of people posting things on Benedicta being, oh, square done her day. She needed so much more. She needed to be there towards the later part of the game. It's like, in your mind, you want her to be an A or S tier. But that's not what her role in the story is limited to. Not everyone can be the centre character. So for Gav, I had no strong feelings. No strong feelings. All right, yeah, for Gav, I was so sus of Gav. I was like, what's this fucker about? Well, what's his game? What's his angle? When he's going to betray us? But I mean, in this world, everything was so dark and gritty, mean, that when a true shining star, when a bro, a man born of love and goodness reincarnate comes along, how you're not going to be suspicious of him? Gav is just a big bundle of bro love. Like, what a decent guy. Not only was he like competent, like really, really competent. I mean, let's just focus on how competent he was as a character. Not only did Sid like pretty much use him for all of the main missions. No one, we even had a quest because we had to go and get some other scouts because no one was as good as Gav at his job, the reconnaissance that he would do for us. But even like him coming into combat with us against godlike beings of mighty power. I remember like fighting Pandemonium and just like S-Ram, just like, Gav, are you right? Yeah, Gav, he's always holding his own. He's having a great time. Losing his eye, and then becoming a little squish goblin for Ida's baby, you know. Wanted to be a stepdad. That drunk scene with him and Clive.
I'm gonna be a father.
I'm gonna be a father. And then finding out his backstory as well, which was very brutal. Gav, my boy, you are an S tier. Oh my. Do I place him higher than Joshua?
Ooh.
Damn, this is a toughie. I mean, I feel like Clive. Sometimes it felt like he loved Gav more than Joshua. Just a few moments. Like there was that scene when Joshua and Clive first teamed up and like Gav was in trouble And what was it Clive said?
He got all like snarky.
He was like, I ain't a fucking joke, Joshua. Like, shut up. Take it serious. And they've only just been reunited.
Well,
Joshua's...
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that, but he said something along the lines. And it's like...
He was definitely being snarky.
He's like, my boy Gav's in trouble. Gav's what matters here.
Poor Joshua was like, oh, right, son.
Yeah.
He didn't feel so bad. Poor Josh.
Jill is a strong A to me. Yeah, I mean, this is what's tough for me. These three characters, I don't know how to rank them. The amount of F-bombs that Gav brought to the table. I think that's the only reason I got to place him a little bit lower than Joshua. Just because a lot of Gav's contributions to many moments was fuck me. Ah, fuck.
Fucking hell.
But damn, that scene at the end, yo, with Gav, with those tears, that hits. I think Gav is A. You don't think he's an S? I think Gav's an S.
Go with what you feel.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, for him not to be an S, so for you who think he's an A, what did they miss with Gav?
I think it's
could they have
a matter
done
of people
further?
have different standards for what makes somebody an S tier.
Maybe my standard for S tier is too high. Maybe I would end up needing to sneak some of these down to A. But we'll press on for now. Otto, there was a really beautiful scene with Otto with Sid. You know, especially that note. He's like, "I love you, you grumpy old sod," or something, and Otto just like feeling into that hard. Otto had some moments, you know, being the hideaway caretaker and putting Mid in her place a few times was nice.
Yeah.
I know he's pretty limited. I don't know. Actually, I'd have to go down to C. I wouldn't place him higher than Barnabas. I'd place him higher than Yote.
I would probably put him in B personally, just because of that.
He didn't feel.
Seeing that side of him really bumped him up. I mean, that scene made me cry. So for me, I think he's higher than he is for you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's basically either there or there for me personally. I mean, of course, I did enjoy Barnabas's character more, but I mean, Otto did have a better range to him for the role that he played. It was, you know, he was one of our second-hand man. He was running the place with us. After almost every like main significant quest section, it was go speak to Otto.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd either have to put him low Bs or just below Barnabas.
What feels right?
I just didn't feel massively interested by him. Right, Hippocrates. I've been waiting to do this for a long time. Fuck you. Get dunked, Harpoc, where you belong. Fuck you. Give me better lore, Hippocrates. I'm sorry, I don't know. I know. He did come up with the
That's Square's fault.
Torgal burying his nose in his nuts. And then he did have that scene with Dion at the end of the day. The flower. But at the end of the day,
He taught us about Torgal.
that was sending me off to do a fetch quest. So
It was my favorite fetch quest.
but the advice that he gave Dion in that moment, I mean, it was very, very beautiful. Yeah, and he did tell us about Torgal, but okay, so what? I don't know. Your lore sucked!
If you didn't find out what happened to Torgal,
He did give some good lore.
Pretty pissed.
Huh?
You would have been pretty pissed if we didn't find out what was the deal with Torgal.
Yeah, I suppose, but Hippocrates, I don't know, in terms of the lore, he was the lore man. I wanted more lore in more places. I wanted juicier lore. Yeah, you're the lore man. You're taking the hit. You're taking the D hit, sir.
Oh, poor Hippocrates.
Like, how do I not know more about the children of Zemeckis? How do I not know? Hippocrates! How do I not know more about... And that's the thing, it always just felt like... Most of the time he came to us, it was like, yeah, there's nothing written on this. There's no information. No one knows. I don't know anything. The two bottom tiers are going to never be filled. Oh, I'm always going to have strong feelings about someone, and I think I'm going to remember them all. Actually, to be honest, this guy, I actually don't remember. There we go. It's getting used. I had to ask Brie earlier. I was like, there's two people on here I don't remember. It's actually these two people. I don't know if I remember you. So this was the guy, he ran the counter. And he was like, oh, bleeding hell. We owe 15 million. Bollocks. I was going to have me guts for garters, and like some bits of like funny dialogue, but he was just a nothing man behind a counter. And her, she's the most plain Jane-faced woman I've ever seen. I will give 100 schmeckles right now to whoever knows what her name is. Right now. But the answer has to be instant.
Wench.
Wench? No one remembers her name. She probably don't even know her own name. She's the kind of plain Jane who's so plain she forgets her own name is Jane. She's so plain. I don't remember you. Other guy, I don't have any strong feelings. And this is, just quickly while we're on these two characters, answer me this. How in this tier list do these guys make it? But point to me where Hannah Murdoch is. Where's Hannah Murdoch? So Murdoch is here. I don't know where to place him just yet. I'll just lay him there. So Murdoch's here, but Lady Hannah isn't. Lady Hannah, who we had one of the most sincere mum-like vibes from in the whole game. All the mums in this game are atrocious. Annabella is horrific. But that scene of Clive and Jill, and you know, they go to her house and she talks about what they've been through and like actually truly like weighs how much they've had, and you see Clive and Jill kind of like for the first time register like,
Oh, this person cares about us.
she cares, and damn, we have been through a lot. It was like she almost brought out their trauma side in a way that we hadn't seen up until that point in the game. And she just felt like the game mum. How do you not put her on the list? How? So I'm going to roll Hannah and Murdoch, Mr. Murdoch, all into one. Because he was cool at the start, you know, our first sparring partner, him getting incinerated. I'm going to roll the Murdochs into one. And they go right there. C tier. That fair? Or do I have to do just Murdoch? I'm going to roll Hannah in. I'm rolling Hannah in. It's not fair otherwise.
This is your tier.
It's certainly not fair that Hannah isn't on the list and these two shitters are.
It's true.
D tier drops. What was his name? No, it wasn't Tyler. Sir Tyler's over here. I think he might have to go. Actually, Sir Tyler, we had a cool moment in Stillwind with you. So you're going to go a little bit higher. But these two, I didn't give a damn. I didn't give a damn. This was one of the worst sections of the game, where we go to that bloody market and Goots has lost our passes, so we can't get through a gate. We can't get through a gate because someone stole our passes, so we know to go hunt the passes. Now there's a lady who knows about the passes, and she knows about the kids. We've got to go to speak to 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, 4 kid, and then we're going to go chase the kid, and the kids run away, so we've got to hunt down the kid, and now a man shown up accusing us of diddling the kid. We're not diddling the kid, sir. Oh, it turns out honourable man who is stopping us is brothers of this woman. Sweet, let's chat to you two. You seem like you kind of have an incesty relationship. Definitely got that feeling. Theo and Eloise. Now, both of you look great. You're a good-looking couple of characters. But when you guys are all I'm going to remember of what kept me locked into a fucking fetch quest, the way is shut. Only those who will fetch quest shall enter. Go speak to kids. The thing I hate to do the most in any game. Their side quest is 10 out of 10. You don't goddamn believe that, James. Don't lie to me. I've got to place them down on D's. Do you not do the Theo Eloise's side quest? Was there a side quest with them?
Yeah.
Their main quest felt like a side quest. Was that the one quest I didn't do? That was there was only one quest I didn't finish, and it was actually down in Dalmek, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, that was trading places with Byron and his manservant.
There's a couple that you didn't do then.
So their side quest disappeared then.
No, it didn't disappear. Either you did it when I wasn't paying attention.
You didn't do their last 2 side quests. Well, where was it? Because I did all the ones in the journal. Did it disappear at a story point? I did all the ones in the journal and all the ones on the map. There was only trading places left. What happened in their side quests? Can someone quickly tell me?
For fuck's sake, I don't know.
Does anyone remember what happened? Trading places was Theo. Right, so was it a bit of Theo and a bit of Uncle Byron? And
Uncle Byron was something...
Maybe I'm confusing those two. Wait, Theo dies. Are you kidding me? Does he actually? Is he lying to me?
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know. Theo dies!
He does.
How?
He turns a Kashyyyk. He goes to fight a dragon and turns a Kashyyyk.
A Kashyyyk dragon. Kashyyyk Theo.
Yeah.
Because he tries to fight a dragon. Why did he try to fight a dragon, fucking idiot?
I don't know.
Why did he... Oh.
And his sister goes,
And she cries, and then we put him down. I bet he was a very sexy Akashic. Because Theo was a sexy man.
I don't know if I would call him that.
Eloise gets her brother killed. Yeah?
I don't know if that's how that happened.
How did it happen?
I don't think she got him killed. He made him
Sacrificed himself to save the city.
He's a guy.
Ether flood appeared and the dragon pursued the people. Ah, that and like stepping up for those kids. You know, because I feel like I missed a big quest then. That would have been nice. Damn, you were a good boy, Theo. Your sister's a useless bitch, but you're going higher.
You died.
Yeah, you're going higher than Hippocrates, Theo. Just because now I know that you're a good boy.
He did a thing.
He did a thing. Vivian Ninetails, aka the mummy of the game. I enjoyed her maps. I enjoyed her lore. I enjoyed her refined, educated demeanor. It was cool that the crystalline dominion, sort of a personal attachment, but then also to find out she's kind of not had many personal attachments. And it's one thing that's been weird being in the hideaway for her. She generally has stayed away from people, but that's part of where her learning and her growth has been, in being part of a collective of individuals. So there was a bit of personal elements in there. She was a great narrator. She did give me those really cool, like Type 0, like war narrator vibes. I do wish there were more wars. I do wish the campaigns were a bit more fleshed out. I do wish we had some sort of like RTS, like overworld map RTS mini game between these nations where we could field troops, we could defend territories, we could have some kind of, and that was voiced by Vivian. Oh, that would have been so cool. Or even an RTS that could have played like historical battles. Imagine how fucking cool that would have been. Like she has all this like knowledge of previous wars, and through like narrating them, we actually get to like field troops and play them. Missed opportunity. That is what could have taken Vivian up to an A tier character. I don't even know if I can put a B tier, to be honest.
I didn't really like her.
She's definitely better than Otto. Not as punchy as Barnabas. So yeah,
She's better.
She belongs there.
She's better than her.
Agree or disagree, guys? Hmm?
I would say that I wouldn't put her above Barnabas.
Yeah, but she's above Otto.
I would put Otto above her because I actually got.
I preferred.
I got emotional.
You got emotional connection with Otto, or emotional vibe.
I got to see like his significance with his connection with Sid.
Yeah.
How helpful he is with the hideaway. I just didn't really get enough from Vivian to like her back.
Yeah, that's fair. Overworld needed more humps like Breath of the Wild. more humps. What do you mean? Bumps on it. Oh, bloody Blackthorn. What do you want? Bugger off. I'm a useless bloody forge smith and I'm fucking really depressed, but I'm not going to tell anyone about it because I'm a man and I'm holding my feelings and I'm really suppressed by toxic masculinity. But actually now you're telling me to express my feelings. I'm kind of doing it and actually kind of feels really good, but I'm still a really shit forge smith. I'm always in the blues. Not just blues 1, blues 1, 2, 3 and 4. But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, I did like his character. I did like his gruffness. I did like him coming into being emotionally expressive. Obviously, he never was, but to whatever degree. And his whole finale with Dravos, giving them the forge, you know, an actual ability to transition off of magic. And his situation with his rival, it was alright. It was alright. Where would I place Blackthorn? Below Otto, for me. I mean, he felt super realistic. I wouldn't say super realistic. For me, personally, I think he did become a bit cliche at points with his "I'm the tough old Blackthorn, the blacksmith with me, fucking forge burns, my burnt face." But yeah, he's just a working class man. And also, I think I've also got to kind of maybe give him a bit more credit in the fact that he could have been the leader of an entire town. He could have had clout. He could have had status. But he sacrificed all of that purely for the love of his craft. And actually, now I think about that, somebody who does have that much passion for their craft to the point where, yeah, anytime he felt like his blades were inferior or that they might get somebody killed or not properly protected, and that was his contribution to the Hideaway, to this bigger picture. I think between combination of that love for the craft and actually like finding what your talent is, your true talent, and not letting yourself be led astray, you know, with other motives, and to like truly express your skills into the world. That's actually kind of a really beautiful thing. Damn, Blackthorn's becoming way more beautiful in my mind all of a sudden. Oh shit! Am I going to cronk you up?
Cronk him up a little bit.
Barnabas and Blackthorn, hand in hand. Mid. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Everyone. You all right, Clive? Everyone, put your big boy pants on. This is going to be a. So you know what? Mid, obviously, when she first comes in the game, scrappy half pint, all kind of bubbly and over the top. And I usually really do like that kind of character. Your Euphies, your Selfies, your Vanilles. So I know a lot of people are immediately like vomiting at that kind of character. Yeah, they want to choke her, they want to kill her, they want to murder her. I didn't immediately have that with, so I didn't immediately get her with her sort of zaniness and her high energy. But then when, yeah, she just orders Clive around for fetch quest after fetch quest after fetch quest, to the point where even when Clive is about to delegate one of her fetch quests off, she's like, no, you go and do it, bitch. Like, there's just like a power play. And then, of course, building the mithril engine for the boat section, which was so long. It was such a significant section of the game where you could have done so much better. The pace, that's probably the biggest pacing drop. It was building her fucking invention. And then again, we had a whole string of side quests for her airship. The airship was a model. It was a toy model.
That shit pissed me off so much. This is what you got me
so
for.
All of that would make mid really low. But you know what? For when she did show up on the boat, and she was commandeering it. Commandeering is when you're taking over. And she's at the helm of it. There was a moment where I was like, yeah, mid's pretty cool. There's a few moments of emotion, of emotiveness. Joshua simping for her.
That was wild. I was like,
Down on
Joshua,
one
what the
knee.
hell?
So, you know, mid did kind of go up in my graces. I did actually start liking her character, and her just sheer insufferableness died down. But how much did it die down by? Jeez. She'll make an airship in the DLC pairs. Well, she said she's going to throw away all the discovery of it.
That was wild.
Because in her mind, no, like, if she invents this thing, it'll eventually be used for war. Well, guess what? So is the boat you just fucking built.
Right? See,
There is nothing you can technologically build that won't, in some way, in a wrong person's hands, be used for war. So your idea of, I'm not going to build the airship because it could be used for war,
But I'm gonna go hide it like a treasure hunt.
but I'm going to go and build a super elite ship.
But it's still, it makes no sense either way, because she's like, someday somebody will find it and make it. It's like,
But I'll do-
But if they make it, it's gonna be used
Yeah.
for war.
It'll be used for war, but I'll make them do a treasure hunt.
Ooh, it's gonna be fun.
Because
See, that's the thing.
I'll bloody get off. It's the only way. It's the only way I can actually get sexually aroused is when I know somebody's on a fucking hunt of some sort, a fetch quest or a treasure hunt,
That's what I
something.
like.
This is what I like. Knowing that I'm wasting someone's fucking time meaninglessly.
That's the
Oh,
thing. Is Mid always annoyed me? She didn't stop annoying me, but when she became a pirate, I was like, oh, I like her a little bit more now. I don't hate her so much.
yeah. When
And
she,
then at the very end of the game, she's like, I know there's a lot of important shit going on, but help me build my model ship. Go, do it, fetch boy. I'm like,
and that's the thing.
you ruined yourself.
Sometimes her tone deafness of asking us to do stuff during super busy, like important times. It's like, you entitled arsehole, Mid. And like she did, she showed up in the hideaway and she's like, I'm also going to just like train a bunch of kids as my goons, get them all emotionally attached, and then she even shirked them off in the end. She went through a bunch of old flippy, floppy, wishy-washy nonsense, but I still enjoyed the character in a few areas. And oh god, where do I place her? Oh man, I'm gonna place her there. What do you guys think? Would you go higher or lower? Where would you guys place her? A, B, C, or D? Or S?
Definitely in C. I'd put her like right above Boots.
Yeah, she's above Goots, but
That's
maybe.
where you put her.
Yeah, no,
Oh, that's where I would put her.
yeah,
Just-
and below Yote.
yeah, just showed up. On
Are you guys doing your lists as well?
Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I would probably put Ambrosia higher than you have.
You'd put Ambrosia higher.
Higher than Groot. I
Yeah.
just really respect what Ambrosia did. But that's the only
But this is why I still think my main idea for Origin, mount an army and have them ride into Origin after a doorway has been blown open by one of the other nations. You know what I mean? Maybe from some of the ships, firing from the ships, or the Iron Kingdom bring up their fucking catapults that we saw them utilizing against Shiva, the Dalmex, sorry. And then, you know, when we saw like Elwyn mounting up his troops on chocobos, have Clive at the head of a small Rosarian troop and army and a bunch of others, and they ride into Origin, and Brosia at the front, leading it with all the other chokies behind. Ah! My Origin final dungeon idea is the best way that this game could have ended. Change my mind. Change my mind. Origin needed to be a grounded, walled-off crystalline city turned Akashic that once we infiltrated through, we got to do significant battle scenes and scenarios, go through a world of Ultima's imagination. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure Final Fantasy and Final Dungeon goodness. And then he eats Origin up like the Nexus, and then we have to follow him up there. Oh, God. That's what could have taken Ambrosia higher. Like, imagine how cool that would be. Like Clive on his white chocobo following up with troops of that. Fuck. And Nectar in battle armor as he rallies all the other Moogles that exist in the world. Little Moogle troop come in and get a little back door through Origin. Yeah. Or Ultima's playing some mind games. How about this? Origin, we're inside Origin. Ultima's playing some like fantastical, crazy, because you could see like he did holograms and stuff. Imagine how much, and that was inside Drake's spine crystal. Imagine how much power he could have had in Origin, a world that he controls. And what if Nectar and his little Moogle troop come in and they do a bit of magic, you know? And like it kind of undoes Ultima's like mind games a little bit. And Nectar's like, I fucking got you, lad.
Nectar DLC.
And that's hello? Hello? Mike died. Is it working? Hello? 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 It is. All right, Mike just died. I don't know how much you guys heard of that, so I'll just say it again. Still don't understand why only Clive could understand Nectar's speech. We got no answer for that. Mythos, Logos, why he could understand Nectar. And that would have been cool if there was some sort of conclusion to that, answer to that. Again, I said that if in my Origin idea where we had a final dungeon, if Moogles showed up or Nectar showed up with more Moogles, and in some trippy kind of roundabout way, they could offset or play a role in Ultima's mind games, that would have been cool, because Moogles have that kind of, you know, magic, sort of metaphysical, mental play. I don't know, that's how I understand Moogles anyway. Like, they're little floofy cute balls, but they can actually kind of be pretty powerful, you know? They're like the baby Yodas of the world. You know? Cute, but damn, don't get on the wrong side of one of them, because they'll incinerate your bones. But yeah, Nectar, I didn't enjoy you at all. I didn't enjoy hearing about your quest. I don't know what happened. I think this is a sign of my age, where I hate the Moogle. I think the relationship fallout has been going on for a while. You know, the Decidi Moogle sort of killed it for me. Fuck that guy. What other Moogles did we have? Did 15 have any Moogles? Oh, 15 just had Iris's teddy toy that you just lob to bait mobs away. I don't know. Moogles have fallen so low. I think Final Fantasy 17 needs to have the main protagonist be a Moogle.
Word?
That's the only way to recover it. Or a Moogle side game. How about that? Give us a fucking Moogle side game. Justice for Moogles. Now this guy, whose name is Mr. Apron Non-Armor Equipped Sadist Sambrek Judgeman? Owain Clinton, Clarton,
Is that right?
Bombaclari, Clayton,
Clinton.
Chlorex, Chloroform,
Chlorine.
Quinton. Yes, Quinton.
Clinton.
He's a Clinton.
That was very close.
Quinton. Okay, so this guy, you know, I was so compelled. This was when I was going through a sea of poopy side quests. When we got to this guy, I thought, oh, this is gonna go somewhere. I was in when he told about, you know, the justices of Sambrek. He built this whole nation. We had a lot of build up when we first went to this little town. What was it called? The town he ran? It was Lost Wing. Yeah, Lost Wing.
My memory is shit.
I go into Lost Wing, and it's kind of cool. And to find out all of those people they gathered for one motive, revenge. They were going to go and try to take down this last Sambrek judge after he had his family murdered and murdered loads of others. And then you guys saw it. If you were in my playthrough, the finale to that was so lame. So lame. Just gathered a bunch of people. None of them had armor. None of them had weapons. Apparently he'd been planning this over a decade. And they marched up to the guy's house. Everyone else died. They were dead. Quentin somehow didn't get mangled by a quirl. And he just came out. He's like, yeah, I just sliced the guy ear to ear. And it was like ominous. He was like covered in blood and shit, but it's still in his apron. And then he went back to Lost Wing and had an ether flood, and then a bunch of guys came up. We're family. We're family. They fucking Vin Diesel'd the shit out of that quest line. And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe we are family. Yeah. And then he showed up again right at the end, didn't he? He was one of the people standing in the background. I loved this quest. See, there were areas of it I really liked, I was really compelled, and then I was just really let down with the execution of it. That's how I felt, honestly, with Quentin. Started liking it. Just felt like it was lame, that no one was geared, no one was armoured, he's the only one who survived. We didn't actually get to see the situation with the judge coming to fruition. Quentin. Damn it, Quentin. I think Quentin might be the highest of the Ds for me. Because honestly, even within the situation, like he didn't seem either side. It's like he weren't blinded with revenge, but it's also kind of a bit like blind with the Lost Wing situation, what he could have had there. I don't know. I felt like it just went down this weird middle ground that I didn't entirely like, personally. Quentin. All right. Martha. How do we feel about Martha? Now, Martha was a good lass. Martha was a solid lady. I do think they diminished her character, for me at least. Like, her character was so well situated. And when we first went there, she's just great. Down to the bones. The only person really to have true empathy and compassion for the bearers and to be truly sickened by the things that happen to them and the level of commitment and out of the way she goes to serve, trying to create a situation better for bearers. But then they overplayed her character. I think they overplayed her way too much. Once it got to the point where she's hoisting a frying pan,
that shit was wild.
At that point I was just like, great, you're kind of overdoing it now. That's honestly how I feel. And I mean, maybe that's the frustration Martha feels, that she has to step up to the plate and do basically just about everything around the place. But she was cool. She had a great personality. We had great convos. She gave us a lot of details with Sid, and the fact that she had her ideology, Sid had hers. They sort of clashed over their different POVs on it, and then eventually they definitely fucked. Absolutely 100%. Martha and Sid banged. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And then they became allies, and they promised to always have each other's back. Very cool, very sweet. I would actually go... I'd go between Benedicta and Hugo, for me. I'd actually put Benedicta a bit higher, because I actually really did like Benedicta. Dame for D, takes the D, big D, all of the D. Literally, her whole characterization is D, Soldier D, taking the D, an empire built on D. And to have Sam Breck transition to the Queen of the D is now leading the nation. God damn, like, I don't mind, and I understand in like medieval days, the power of like brothels, right? Brothels and the whole sort of like Mistress of Whispers vibe, and people's tongues are loose, where the alcohol and the sex and the seduction happen, and the seedy underworld. But the Dame does not do a good job at representing it at all, because she's so over the top. This is actually the worst voice actor in the game.
I agree.
of all the voice acting, this was just the worst. The number of times she's like trying to talk to Clive and she's speaking, and then she tries to get all like sex. Oh, this is my sexy voice. I'm now doing my sexy voice. And it's just like, shut up! Shut up! Pez hates women confirmed. Karen is way too high. No. Let me stay on the Dame. Don't. Karen is like D. Karen she won me over. I don't know. Maybe not A. My A's looking pretty vacant at the moment.
With your feelings, babe.
Fuck. All right. Anyway, I didn't like going to this area, and the extent of Dame's mission was to just get us so we could walk through unmolested in Sambrec areas. That was the extent of her role. Then it just went so above and beyond. The amount that we had to go through to do that, everything with her hookers, just uninspiring, boring quest lines, and every moment she was on screen, I just found her insufferable. Just a try-hard character, and they gave her so much dialogue. I mean, reams and reams of it, pages of dialogue. Even when I was skipping through it, it took me forever. And just when I didn't think I could take any more of this character, they then went and reduced what should have been Dion's role of reforming his nation. The worst side quest in the game was the Dame being elevated by even the main guy now leading Sambrec, being elevated to basically lead a position. The worst. Just the absolute worst. Like, what a clown show you've turned like Sambrec into. One of the superpowers, let me just say it again, the superpowers of the world, of all of Storm. Fucking Ash, Willowed and Barnabas over there. All of Storm, the most powerful nation. This bitch. This bitch! Really? Like, come on. Anyway, I've already ranted about her. I can't rant anymore. Just didn't like her in the slightest. Lubor, the lube man, the silver-tongued snake boy. Yeah, I mean, Lubor didn't massively stand out. I mean, he did come around and start presenting some cool ideologies towards the end. You know, he was a bearer, still going for mayor, kind of showed like genuine care for those kids. You know, and he's kind of that sleazy-ish kind of character where he's very lippy, very sassy, very sarcastic. I don't entirely mind, though, given the setting. Dalmec sort of tradesman. He sort of knows a lot, but I don't know, that's the thing. Like, they didn't play him up as like this highly intelligent character. This is the problem I have with Lubor. He seems like he was really, really smart and really clever and in the know and sort of a visionary and a reformist. But that's only because everyone else in Dalmec was a fucking moron. Like, just total idiots all around. That Lubor looked like a genius in this scenario. But if you fall for that, guys, but I'm just looking at the whole scenario and I'm just like, y'all all just a bunch of morons. And Lubor did not escape out of it for me. He's going beneath Harpocrates. Yeah, he's going below Harpocrates. Elwyn, obviously, reduced, well, a limited role. But for what we did see, what we saw in his will, even just things around the story that we didn't see directly with Elwyn, so the kind of person he was. Not only what he did do for bearers, but what we also found out in the quests he wanted to do for bearers. You know, he was that guy his hands were tied. Elwyn was massively tied. He had to make moves, he had to engage in wars and aggressions and treaties and pacts and bend the knee to social situations that were outside of his control. But he was trying to push the needle. He was a damn good dad. His speech with Joshua, his respect for Clive, how the hell this man went as many years as he did with Annabella, and either he himself did not get corrupted by her bitchy ass ways, or that none of her goodness rubbed off on Annabella. Like, you know when couples are together for a long time, they slowly start to like influence each other? Yeah. How did that happen with Annabella and Elwyn? Like, maybe they just didn't plough that often. Annabella seemed like she really disliked him. And Elwyn was not... He was not amiss to passing up on that poussey. He passed on that nasty, rancid, evil snatch. Can't decide between Elwyn and Regis. Honestly, Regis and Elwyn, they're damn, they are kind of up there in the same category, the same tier. I think we saw a bit more with Elwyn. I don't know, but I mean, well, if you put the Kingsglaive movie in, Regis is pretty big in that. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. Yo, great Riek. Woo! Is that you've been a member for a month? I think you might be my first month member. Yeah. Wait, did I activate that a month ago? That felt like last week. Bro, thank you so much for that month. Hey, Pez, glad to see a new stream. Also, Annabella needs a CU tier. CU standing for the British word. Yeah, the Kent tier. The old Kent. They were cousins. Wait, is that actually true?
I don't know.
Wait, is Annabelle and Elwyn, are they cousins? Can anyone confirm or unconfirm? What law told us that? Was that some incest? I mean, second cousins are fine, right? Second cousins are fair game. If you've got a second cousin that's hot, you're fair game to plough them, right? Wait, really? What, is it third cousins that are fine then?
I'm pretty sure the general rule is don't fuck your cousins at all.
Well, no, because there's a hotness to what degree of cousin you'd fuck. Like, it's a chart. Like, they're this level of hot, and they're like third cousin.
I'm looking at you in a different light now.
Why? I'm not like full Billy, like, yeehaw, I'm gonna fuck my first cousin, but hot to third cousin ratio? If they're like super hot, maybe even second cousin. First cousin, never, no. Unless, of course, you're stranded on an island.
Am I talking to Pez right now?
If you're stranded...
Am I talking to my
if you're
boyfriend
stranded on an
right
island
now?
and your female cousin is the only other person in the universe and she's your first cousin, then it's fair game. Again.
Okay, yeah, I'm not talking to my boyfriend anymore.
I'm speaking the truth. Are you telling me that even in the scenario where you and your hot, like female or male, depending on what you're sexually attracted to, cousin, is the only other person in the world, you ain't eventually...
I look at you different now.
I'm just speaking the truth. Like, you guys know what I'm saying.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But like,
You know what I'm saying? You knows what I'm saying. Don't deny it. I'd rather die, bro.
I would also rather die.
There's barely any relation. Blood relation between cousins. Yeah, it's not a huge...
That shit's weird. Y'all are weird. Every single one of you.
Mate, let the world burn.
This shit is fucking weird.
What is going on? You guys are bugging out.
Who's
Like
bugging?
sixth cousin, maybe. Oh, come on.
You don't realize that you're the one that's bugging here. Like, you're actually concerning me.
See, but all of this is just a social perspective anyway, because if we went back 300-400 years, this wouldn't even be a question for you. You'd bang your cousin tomorrow and you wouldn't think nothing of
but
it.
now we know that causes fucked up babies.
Yes, but at what degree of cousin causes fucked up babies?
Oh my god.
Because if it's second or third cousin that doesn't do that, then does it become fine?
It definitely does still do that.
Alright, we've got to research this.
Oh god, I hate this.
Second
About this.
cause. Do second cousins cause birth defects? In most cases, second cousins are far enough apart that there is only a little increased risk. Of course, this doesn't mean there is no risk. Everyone who has the children has a risk of disability. That chance that baby is born with a birth defect or disability is between 2 to 3%. So where are second cousins at?
I ain't fucking my family.
Ah, here we go. In clinical genetics, consanguinity is defined as union between two individuals who are related as second cousins or closer, with the inbreeding coefficient equal or higher than 0.0156, where F represents the proportion of genetic loci which oh fuck me, this is
some West Virginian ass shit.
I mean, I'm only bringing it up because somebody's telling me that Elwyn and Annabella are cousins.
Don't defend them.
So you're telling me that Joshua and Clive are incest babies?
Ah, shut up.
Let that settle in.
No.
Let that settle in.
No.
Unless somebody can confirm it.
I haven't seen any evidence of that.
And I don't know. I think someone's probably making it up because it's a medieval game.
Yeah. Maybe.
I just put type Annabella and Clive cousins. Oh, it is true. Yes, to ensure that the phoenix would remain within the ducal bloodline, Elwyn got engaged in an arranged marriage to his own cousin, Annabella.
I hate it.
Oh, God.
Well, it is that those times that was normal, I guess.
Yeah, because they wanted to keep the phoenix at the head of the family.
Phoenix, that's gross.
So,
Ew.
I need.
Ew.
So basically, the majority of babies born to couples who are blood relatives are healthy, whilst wait, what? That doesn't make sense. The majority of babies born to couples who are blood relatives are healthy.
Then why is it illegal?
Right, okay, so the majority. But whilst cousin marriages increase the birth defect from 3 to 6%, the risk is still small. Cousin marriage only accounts for 1/3 of birth defects. That's a lot! 1/3? Damn, how many cousins be banging? So there was a 6% chance.
The South in America.
Or one says here 4 to 7% chance that Clive or Joshua could have been defect.
Maybe that's why Joshua's sick.
Maybe that's why Joshua's sick.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's a defect baby.
He's a defect. Yeah, he probably doesn't have a spleen, or he's like missing a kidney or something. Damn it. Well, Elwyn, you're still a legend in my eyes, and I'm going to place you pretty high. I mean, I feel like now I'm looking at it, I think Lady Karen might have to come lower. I do actually think I prefer her better than Tarja. Elwyn, can he be A? Because again, it depends on like overall impact on the story. He can't be an A. But if it's confined to like what his role was, and for the time that he was with us, was he dope and dank and cool and intriguing and great dad? Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I can put him. Is Torgal just going to have like A all by himself? I feel like I am going to move Gav down to A, just so Torgal ain't alone. I'm going to put Elwyn there. Uncle Byron, some of you might say A. And I'd actually really heartbreakingly have to agree. Heartbreakingly. Because Uncle Byron to me is one of my favourite characters in this game. He's so good. He was hilarious. Like his scene, it remains my favourite scene of 16. It is them meeting Uncle Byron. The Crandall of Camelot, him, curse ye infectious flax wench, with tears coming out of his eyes. Man, my favorite 16 scene. And like Byron diving over the bar and like stuffing food in his face while getting attacked. Or Clive's fighting. Every moment that Byron was on screen was a joy. But the only reason I can't place him S tier is just because, yeah, it felt like he was going to significantly become a role in Rosaria again. It feels like he was mournful that he'd abandoned his nation. And that had always played on his mind. He wasn't as brave as his brother Elwyn. And then he was going to go and rally an army. And then nothing came of that. Nothing came of that. And also, did Byron properly get a speech at the end?
Yeah, I mean, not really.
Just a little. He got a little few lines. I would say I think I would have liked the Clive dies scenario to have been absolute, not an ambiguous ending. And I actually wish that Uncle Byron sailed up on a ship and found his nephew petrified on the beach. And we got to see him mourn that. And then the end credit scene, I wouldn't have liked some kids 500 years or something in the future. I'd have liked to have seen what the nations in the future were like, how they'd been reformed. A little glimpse of each nation. Because again, each nation had become hollow turds by the end. So we weren't going to see anything. But that's what I would have liked. And I would like to have seen Byron playing a significant role in Rosaria, and that's what would have made him S tier. That's it. That's the only reason I'm not giving him S tier. This guy, this undying dude, Cyril, I think his name was. Hey, Cyril, yeah, not much going on with you. I'd actually place you below Lubor and higher than Tyler, for sure. Sir Wade, yeah, you're all right, man. Like, Sir Wade was pretty cool. It was a sweet reunion with him. Nice to see a friendly face. That definitely put the wind under Clive's sails a bit, especially seeing that there were still people believing in Rosaria and fighting. And Sir Wade did carry the spirit of Rosaria with him. You know, his role in the early game, hyping up Clive in his fight against the Moorbowl. And it was nice him come back into the story. But, yeah, after they kind of consigned him to Eastpool, we didn't see much more. And again, that's just why Origin needed to happen. It needed to be a big event where we could have seen Wade and the other Rosarians who had sort of banded together in Eastpool sort of show up. Again, Sir Wade riding with Chocobo Knights alongside Clive into the finale. Juicy! Didn't happen. So Sir Wade, he could have been a B, but because they did such reductionist storytelling with the nations and you fell victim to that, shit. Personally, I would place him higher than Otto and less than Vivian. Brutal, savage, maybe a bit higher than Vivian. No, I still prefer Vivian more. Yeah, he's going there for me. This dude. So actually, you know what? This dude is deplorable as fuck, but I actually really enjoyed this section. I'm sadder that the Iron Kingdom didn't play more of a role. That this religious cult didn't get more influence. We didn't even find out why they were suppressing. I really thought there'd be something rich in why the Iron Kingdom were suppressing their dominant. If that had some sort of tie to Ifrit, if that was going to go somewhere, how the Iron Kingdom would transition, I don't know. Basically, this guy was really cool to me at one stage, like conceptually and in the trailer, because I thought there would be like a lot of rich history and lore. Imrin, that's his name. Imrin. Yeah, something in the cosmogony of this story was going to be hidden behind this guy and this cult and this idea, and it would get really deep and dark and twisted and sacrificial and messed up, and it didn't. They believed Ether to be a stain. Yeah, but there was so much more I wanted. And like the connections I made in my theories surrounding the Iron Kingdom, they were just so much cooler than the reality. His show off with Jill, though, standoff was really cool. It was dope. But Imrin, I'm going to place Imrin. God. I'm going to place him higher than most of you guys think. It's either there or there for me, guys. Where would you place this mofo? Because he had a strong characterization to him. I feel like he kind of mouthed off at Jill a bit too arrogantly, considering she's freaking Shiva, and she just seemed massively overconfident. And everything to do with the patriarchy that he was behind. I feel like could have just had more exploration into. They are very anti-magic. Should have a moral dilemma. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Them being anti-magic and anti-dominant and thinking Ether was staying. The thing is, Imran was right. He was right. And I said it in the start of the trailer. Like, just because he's like some like nasty looking mofo being like, I must cleanse the poison. He didn't say it like that in the trailer. Don't know why I made him sound like a swamp ghoul. But I said it in the trailer. I was like, you know, this cult guy, you best believe, though he's presented to us that way, he's actually probably got the right of it. And he did. He did. The Iron Kingdom were the only nation doing it right. Let's be real. Everyone else was corrupting and staining and poisoning the world. Shit. The patriarchy was right. God bless the patriarchy. Imran was right. Can we even say Imran did nothing wrong? What did Imran actually do wrong?
I don't know. Enslaving Jill?
Enslaving Jill, a mass murdering dominant.
She wasn't a mass murdering dominant whenever he enslaved her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but that was defending his nation. Their nation didn't have a dominant. Of course he had to. He had to do that to protect his people. Clive's had to do worse. Clive was going to behead Jill. Let's not forget that. Clive was going to cut her head off. So how is Imran any more morally like culpable than Jill?
Because he genuinely thinks he's in the right and he's done nothing wrong.
But maybe he hasn't, because if your like conviction is that Ether and dominance are wrong, and you're actually right about that, he was wrong but accidentally right. Yeah, I'm being a little bit facetious. I know that Imran, when you look at him, he was power tripping pretty hard, and his motives were insidious. And I think there was even an implication, what Jill said, that him and his lads kind of did nefarious stuff. All right, Sylvester. This is going to be a cool one to rank. He goes up in A tier for me. I actually may place Sylvester just below Uncle Byron and actually higher than Gav. Now, of course, that's not because I like him, but I think that Sylvester was a fantastic character. Fantastically written, presented. Yeah, the little scenes with him with the flowers and just the command, the authority that he commanded over the other Sambrek leaders, calling them fools, and everything with him and his relationship with Dion, being led astray by Annabella, all that build up to that final getting speared through the middle. There is not a single Sylvester moment where I was not like deeply enthralled with what was happening. I loved every minute, to be honest. He is, to me, like the best villain that we had in this game. Like, he's better than Barnabas. He's better than Ultima. So...
What about Annabella?
Yeah, see, Annabella, I mean, oh God, I've got to vote for her as well. Yeah, Annabella, actually deplorable as hell. Actually, really good villain. I'm going to place her below Torgal. because, yeah, it was very unsatisfying how she took her own life the way she did. It was just so sudden, so erratic, so sharp, and also very confusing and muddling, and even that leaves a lot, to me at least, questioning. I still don't know if this is a question to you guys, how much or what degree of Annabella's evilness was of her own volition and how much was Ultima influenced. To me, it's very complex. It's absolutely not the case she was totally manipulated by Ultima, but to me, it's also very clear she was not entirely doing it of her own motives. Her sudden snap at Joshua, go away, Shadow, slitting her own goddamn throat, her motive to like play as significant a role as she did in the geopolitical situation and downfall, not only of Rosaria, but of Sambrek, trying to create a vessel that was pure of both Bahamut and the Phoenix. These weren't mere mortal motives. We need more scenes of everyone, literally. A lot, for sure. I feel like Annabella, I was so looking forward to finally having her not reunite, but have to answer for her actions, not only in front of both of her boys, Clive and Joshua, and how the nuance between both of those would look. And we did see it in like flash moments in the emotions, but it was so fast, it was so quick. On top of everything with Olivia getting killed, it's just, there were so many plot elements that centered around Annabella for me that just ended too quickly. Annabella should have been the main villain. Her death was bullshit. I mean, what do you guys personally think? Can you do S and A? Sylvester and Annabella, where would you rank them? So I'm going S, A, A, A. What would you vote Sylvester and Annabella in as, guys? Because they are our best villains. Iron Kingdom reminds me of Aztecs and how they both made human sacrifices for their god Mother Crystal. And I would have liked that kind of more, yeah, cultish, sort of barbaric, you know, because they called their troops, was it like Crusaders or something like that? But they were like big oafish dudes with like bludgeoning axes and stuff. There's like a real barbarism to them that, yeah, I would have liked to have seen more of. I would have liked for us to have been able to have gone back to Iron Kingdom at some point later in the game. I really feel like Iron Kingdom needed another arc. Sylvester S, Annabella A. Go S tier Sylvester. Curious. Annabella and Sylvester are both B. Yeah? Interesting. Good characters, but underutilized. B tier. Do you think underutilized? I mean, it is curious when we're talking about sort of underutilized or characters that should have had more or more stage time or done more. At the end of the day, 16 is still a really big game. You know, what's cool to me is when I've been trying to download the movie for 16, so I have all the cutscenes on my hard drive, to see that they got like 28 hours, 25 hours. Most of 15 was like 9 hours, 10 hours. And to see even a lot of people criticise 16 as being too long. And there's a lot of us who, and I agree, see, I don't even necessarily think it's, no, it's very clear, isn't it, guys? The game length itself was enough and the cutscene density was enough. It's just that some of those sections was dedicated to bullshit. And some of the really powerful stuff was just crammed. If they'd have spread all of that out and just extrapolated some of these characters onto more meaningful events and giving them more time. Yeah. Don't think the length of 16 is the issue. It's just the quality of the pacing and not those long drop moments. Pez S tier, Bree A tier. Ah! How bloody dare you? She's an S tier woman.
Who said it?
Do you want to know who said it? It's Wutai.
Okay.
Oh, Wutai, you and Bree's back. I mean, still, A tier is good, Bree. A tier? You can't be displeased with that. Alright, and final. Kiel, the suspected theorized Leviathan dominant for next to no reason. Next to no reason. A few tiny reasons. But yeah, I mean, she was a cool character for the very minuscule role that she was in. Yeah, it's pretty endearing, you know. I did like the section of seeing Dion go to a very humble, you know, shack in the middle of rundown, destroy Sam Breck. She did even show up on a really cool artwork trailer before the game came out. But it's a very limited character. And she's a good lass, sure. And I just don't know if I'm missing something with this character. Because, yeah, she's an orphan. We don't know the situation with the parents. But is there an implication there from a water clan? Or water tribes? Or the tribes of Bay, I think. Is it tribes of Bay? I've seen something called the tribes of Bay. B-A-Y.
I'm not sure.
That there's some lore in the game, and maybe her parents are from that tribe, aka Levi. Oh, her name's origin, Kiel. Kiel has roots that means born of a land of the waters. Oh! Oh, okay. I see. So there's a water terminology in her name as well. Maybe. I mean, she does give Dion some water. Yeah, I mean, this is a character I would just throw in. She's not like a bad character, but nothing like significant. If there is more to her, you sure as hell made it elusive, and I'm going to need more if I'm going to be compelled. She's definitely above Cyril and Tyler, but I still have to place her lower than Lubor. And that's my tier list. Bloody hell, that took me forever.
I told you.
That took so long. I thought I'd whack this out in half an hour. It's taken me like 2 fucking hours. Bloody neck. But I had a lot of thoughts. That really has actually just compartmentalized for me how I really feel about characters in this. And I can't believe we get like characters like this chick or even Kiel or Cyril. There's no Terrence. And there's no Hannah. What the hell? Where's Terrence and Hannah? Who else are they missing? Is there anyone else you can just tell, guys, they've missed from the list? But there we go. Based on my tier list and my ranking, I'm curious, guys, rate it out of 10. 10 being you absolutely agree with it. 1, totally disagree with it. How close did my tier list get to yours? Let me know in the comment section. And there's no Bard. Jeez, there's no Bard. Honestly, Bard would be straight up in... He'd be in B tier. B for Bard. For sure. Because that guy, he had heart, he had soul, he had feelings, he had emotions. I felt it in the words and the lyrics. He knew what was going on in the world. That Bard was not spoony. 7 out of 10 list, 8.5, 7.5, a 7, a 9 out of 10 list, a 6, an 8.5. 8, I'd increase a lot of people, but like your list. Yeah, I mean, let me just look over it. Is this absolute list I agree with? I mean, is there anyone you guys would take or add? Let's just start like S tier. Is there anyone you would take out or put in? A 9 out of 10 list, a 6 out of 10. Kyrix, God, I'd love to see your list. I'd love to see it. Must be so different to mine. Anyone who the suspicious person on third floor of mid's area of the hideout is? Is there a suspicious person? I think I'll give my S tier. I think my A tier. Yeah, B. It's anything I'd mix around. No. Damn Ultima. Damn Ultima, you should be so main villain my ass. Yeah. Yeah, that's my list. Gone over that. I feel it. I'd put Torgal in B. That just hurts too much. He's too good a boy. I mean, what more could the Torgster have done? I mean, the fact that when we got that... See, I would put him in B if it weren't for that side quest that we had where, you know, Torgal took Clive. They had a little moment. Going back to that hideaway, Torgal had been collecting those items. It was so heartwarming and sincere. And then, you know, Torgal's howls at the end of the game being the main thing that was eliciting emotion out of me. At that point, I weren't sure whether to cry or not. I wanted to, but I didn't know what the fuck was happening. It was also rushed. It was also indecisive on what the hell was going on. And it was that moment. I finally felt some emotional release with Torgal. So, yeah, that's just for me personally what takes him from a B to an A, which is powerful for a character that doesn't have a voice. Hey, Shelbo! What about, mate? Great react. Wow! Pez, how would you have felt given Ultima's powers if you brought dark icons to the world as like multiple S-rank hunts you to fight in endgame? God, that's a fantastic idea, Great React. I really felt such a disservice with the S ranks. Like there were what, 5 of them? Like 2 of them? Barely felt like it. I was holding out for a double S tier. And bearing in mind, I killed most of these S hunts. No heals, no gear. I think I did 2 of them. I used Imperial Infantry Blade. The other one I used more powerful ones. That should not be the hardest bosses in the fight. I mean, come on, let's going back to like Dark Aeons or the weapons or like Ozma or Yearsmat, some of these insane fights that you can get in Final Fantasy. Where was it in 16? Where was the insane ludicrous fight? So yes, Grey, I totally agree, man. If Ultima was able to twist some Dark Aeon fights, make a massive S rank battles, shit, that'd be cool. Barney used wasted potential. Again, if anyone can pick out a character in the Final Fantasy series that is more wasted potential, in your opinion, or even a close candidate, who is there anyone that comes to your mind, guys, you can think of was close to being wasted potential to the degree that Barnabas was? Does anyone come to your mind, Bree?
What?
The most wasted potential character in all of Final Fantasy. Outside of 16.
Outside of 16?
Yeah. I'd like you guys to dig deep, just so I can, even in my mode. Luna Freya. Yeah. Of course, Luna Freya.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Barnabas and Luna. Just,
Very wasted.
just up there. I mean, shit. I'd say Barnabas still had more screen time, but I mean, Luna did have that movie, so...
Yeah.
Damn. You're right. That's... almost equal. And Barnabas is, yeah, almost equal to a Ravus as well. I mean, Ravus did get much more in the DLC chapter. And Luna got shitloads more in the book. Luna had a whole journey, a whole adventure, a whole finale. But books and DLCs, they don't really count, do they? Amaranth, yeah, I mean, Amaranth did do a huge amount in 9. Ravus was done day, yeah. Yeah, and even if I was to weigh up, I'd say Luna is equal with Barnabas in terms of wasted, because Luna was supposed to be our main female protagonist, and Barnabas kind of supposed to be our main male villain. That's crazy. the juxtaposition of that, one sheathed in black, the other in white. Fuck. Damn, that's crazy. I don't know what's going on with Square Enix in terms of their writing department, but quite frankly, like, I want to have fucking words with them. Because what's going on? When there are like these top tier anime stories and they're so compelling and juicy and rich and twisting and what's going on? What's going on with your writing, Square Enix? It's like they're really good at concepts. Concepts. Creating concepts of characters, of worlds, you know, blueprints of ideas, even with trailers, like concept for trailers. They're still trailer kings. But when it comes to the real fleshy, like writing, it falls off after a point. It really does. Barnabas represented the blue pill and Clive the red pill. Fantasy versus reality. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's a pretty cool way to look at it. Because, yeah, Barnabas was living in Ultima's fantasy as well, right? The ideals that Ultima and the children of Zemeckis and his religion had created. Yeah, it was an illusion. And Clive spoke to that illusion. And we saw the husk of the nation that Walode came under this fantasy that Barnabas was under. And that's the thing, the process of dispelling that and going through that, and how I like that metaphor, I really do, fantasy and reality, and how deep and intriguing and cool and twisty and turny that entire concept can become, and how that could have started with Barnabas and then, yeah, led on with Ultima. And going into Origin, really going into Origin, exploring it, seeing the fantasy and having our characters drifting into it, seduced by it, lured by it, confused by it, and having to see themselves pull themselves out of reality and see how much psychological and mental insight into, yeah, not only their minds, their motivations, their will, their determination. Fuck! The more I talk about it, the more frustrated I get. Get really frustrated. Because that was the other thing. It was that's what I spoke about with the void. You know, Barnabas coming out of the void. How does he have void powers? Really? What is the void? Like I said, my idea being that the demiurge was in the game, which Ultima more or less was, and the Konoma, which was the void, and the Konoma is the opposite of gnosis. It absorbs light and knowledge, and it twists it. It twists it into fabricated knowledge. And that Barnabas, by being in contact with the void and the Konoma, he thought he'd seen universal truths, but they had been twisted ones. And how deep that could go. The thematic juice. The juice. There was no fucking juice. And especially with how that ties with Odin as well. Odin, you know, the Norse, the peak of the Norse pantheon, who believes, you know, he sacrifices eye for wisdom, the all-knowing, all-father, and how cool that would have played into that. That is such a cool segue. Konoma, void, the mistaken knowledge, Odin, but like a corrupted Odin, a corrupted version of all-knowing wisdom.
You okay?
No, I'm not. I'm not okay. But I'm also done because it's 7:30 and there's good sniffs. So me and my mushroom head may retreat on that tier list and come back maybe tomorrow to do some NG+. God, look at this hair. God, I'm dying need of an haircut.
We'll have to hit the town soon.
Yeah, we'll go to the town. Maybe tomorrow, the next day. Maybe tomorrow.
I think it would be a good idea too, because there's a couple of things that I don't think we're gonna Like, I want to get some cumin.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so guys, we may pop in town tomorrow, but or if not, I'll pop on and do an NG plus. But anything before I bounce, guys? Speaking of FF and potential, would you ever do after playing 1 to 6, a video about the missed opportunities of each FF? I mean, I've only not played 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, that would be a cool idea. What, go through each FF and say what could have improved it? Because that's massively what I want to do with 16 as well. Is just point out the areas it could have been so much better. Yeah, maybe that'd be a cool idea. Pez, don't worry, I'm going to make a Sid prequel anime like Castlevania with Netflix and fix everything. Yes, please. Sign me up. I would like this. A Sid prequel anime, or like when he was Lord Commander in like the darkened like castle halls of Barnabas's slowly, darkly descending Lude. Oh, that would cool. Wow. Ultimate, in a way, was similar to Vanar in 12. Similar, sure. Just richer, because Vanar actually did kind of demonstrate this emotional connection to Vayne Solidor and humans and showing them the truth. And the fact that, yeah, what made, even then, they were very basic. They were very basic Vanar and the other Curia. Not a hugely complex topic. They were actually going to be shisha bar smoking. What do they call those things with like the tenty faces? The tenty faces in the series. That was the original idea for Curia. It's a picture of them just like honking, just like big old shishas. What do they call those things? Either way, the fact is there were multiple Curia, you know what I mean? They had different like ideologies, mindsets, motivations. Even that was richer. This is just necrotic Joe Biden having a bender, being a bit confused about his emotions and if he's got them or not. 16 was influenced by 12, especially Evilise. I definitely felt, sniffed, tasted some Evilise. Num nums. I saw more tactics than 12. See, I wanted to see more tactics than 12. To be honest, I wanted to see more tactics and more Type 0. More war games, more like politically charged, like staged battle scenarios. Cool RTSs, feeling involved in a war.
War.
I came to this game wanting war.
War.
Instead, I got fucking Dame and Lubor.
War and Lubor.
Clive is basically Ramsay with muscle. And a little corset cinching his slutty little waist.
Poor Clive. He's not a slut. He's a good boy.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys, for just coming and chilling and hanging out with me, riffing. I've only got like 10 days until me and Bree go to ayahuasca, so there's going to be a week off. So while I've got loads of videos that I want to record and stuff I want to stream, because I really feel like, yeah, it's probably going to be like a week, maybe even 2 weeks off. Because the truth be told is after ayahuasca, I'm going to need to spend a lot of personal time, integrating things. So, I might immediately feel up for streaming stuff, but I may not. So I don't know. So it's going to be like, it may not be the best decision. So yeah, the next 10 days is what I decide to do with that time. If you guys have any suggestions, what you think I should do for those days, I was just going to like bust out some NG Plus, just get back to chilling on some theatrhythm, record as many 16 videos, because I'm just awash with thoughts and feelings, if this stream hasn't made it clear. Some of them are negative. Some of them around some negative characters are very negative, and the ending is very negative. But I really want to balance that with making some passion videos as well. that's the thing. I don't want to be a rage bait kind of fucking channel. Not when it comes to my overwhelming feeling. 16 being, I love this game. I had a fucking great time with it, and there's going to be plenty of people picking it apart. So I want to be that guy who's showing what's beautiful about this game. Yeah. Yeah. More FF ranking streams. Do you guys not entirely hate that?
People love tier lists.
Yeah, people don't mind tier lists. This is my first ever tier list. How did I do, guys? How did I do? Hi, Bree, bye, Bree, Kyrick says.
Bye.
Make sure you both have a shaman, Peasant Bree. Hell yeah.
Make sure we have what?
A shaman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to a proper, highly rated retreat. Oh, show. Here's where Ultima shows up to me while I'm in the middle of a trip. With his dead, cold eyes. That'd be the worst. Balance between highs and lows is a great idea, Pez. Yeah, I was honestly carrying kind of. I said to Brit at one point, should I do like sweet and sour, like back to back, like sweet video, sour video, sweet, sour, and like mix it like that, so that you know, in one video I can really sing the game's praises and focus on the things I like, and then in another one really let my bloody frustrations out. Just get really fuck with it. Or should I try to like balance it in one video? Because everything is always pretty multifaceted. Everything has its pros and cons. I don't know. I just generally feel like people either they want that passion video, or they want you to rage like fucking crazy. I think you kind of get like mixed messaging when you're all over the place. I don't know. More tier list, hell yeah. Yeah? We'll come back with some tier list. Maybe with some practice and experience.
I have a bunch of ideas for tier lists in my notebook.
With some practice and experience, I'll get a bit quicker and better.
Yeah.
What did you?
I have a whole like bunch of ideas for tier lists in my notebook from like 6 or 7 months ago.
Characters I would have liked to have lost my virginity to. One of them. What? Why are you doing this? And where was Carbuncle? Where was Carbuncle? Carbuncle and Leviathan DLC.
Show it to people. Oh, there we go.
Carbuncle. Oh yeah, we have my coconut. Waifu and husband bundo tier list with Pez and Bree. Should we do it? I think we'll end up getting into a battle.
We'll definitely probably punch each other.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna strangle you a few times. But
yeah, because if I do that tier list, I'm definitely gonna lewd. I'm gonna lewd out.
What does that mean?
Lewd out. So when thinking about how to rate a waifu, there's some of them who are like, now that's a woman I'd like to introduce to my nan, and have a wholesome like
I don't want to do the
life and a good thing. And then there's other waifus and like.
Yeah, I don't want to do the tier.
Yeah, I know. She couldn't handle it. Bree is a jealous, green-eyed goblin.
I do have green eyes.
And green hair. She couldn't handle it. Necrotic Donald Trump.
There's water coming out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Careful.
Oh
no.
Am I strong enough? Probably not.
We'll see.
Go on, let's get this coconut open before we end the stream.
You're going to get water all over yourself.
Can you get me a knife?
Yeah. Oh, I don't like that, Jake.
Not a sharp one, just one of the kitchen ones. Like, butter knife. Do you think I can open a coconut with a butter knife?
Probably.
Place your bets.
Just be careful, because you can still hurt yourself with a butter knife.
I guess it could sound like you're flip-flopping if it's in one video. Keep them separate. See, that's
true.
That's true, but then also people can very much misinterpret.
Be careful. You might hurt yourself.
This is.
Well, guys, who thinks we're about to go to the hospital?
Open the coconut. Oh.
put the lime in the coconut. Oh, you're gonna get. Oh, on your mic, babe. Ah.
Ooh.
Your mic.
Ooh.
You got water all over it.
Ooh.
He does not care. Swallow it, you animal!
Oh, that was good.
Babe, you got it all over your mic.
Got a floofy top. It's fine. Oh, make sure you don't spill my coconut milk.
You gotta keep it up.
Yum yum yum. I'm sticky.
Don't touch me. I'm clean.
No, you're never clean. Right. I will see you guys on the next live stream, I guess. Sweet. Please don't hurt yourself, Pez. I never do. I never do. Unless it's a monkey. Monkey bite. And I'm in my control. I don't know why you guys have this perception that I hurt myself.
You do.
No, I don't.
It's true.
I got coconut all over my face. Peace out, guys. See you all either tomorrow for some NG Plus and just some random chill gaming, or oh yeah, it's the weekend tomorrow, or Sunday. But peace out. Toodaloo. Thank you for the schmeckles, guys. Mr. Rick, thanks for the who was it who jumped up on the next month? Was that Rick as well? Well, anyway, all of you guys with green titles. Appreciate you so much. Toodle pip, Shelby.
Bye, guys.
Ink Sync. Yeah, Maverick. RX Marty. Chill hanging with you, mate. Icy. Until next live stream. Coo. 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 Okay, that's a bad idea. It's got up my nose. I got coconut up my nose! And it's in my eyes! It's not just water!
This is what you
It has chemicals in it that sting! It's on my laptop! Ray, help! Please help me! I have a coconut inside my eyes! And it really burns!
I think it's time to
Please help me! Ah!
end the stream, clean yourself up.
My right eye's stinging!
Your mic's all wet.